Previously in the saga of Team Buddy. Welcome to the Unova region, the land where people and Pokemon stand united, or at least they used to. After dealing with the preposterous Team Plasma not once but twice, the region has been left in a state of despair. Enter Team Buddy, a dandy group of do-gooders with one purpose: unite the region in friendship. Led by the dapper Mr. Buddy, these swell-suited suitors went on a crusade to help the region regain its love of Pokemon following Team Plasma's two timing tricks. Unova fell for Team Buddy's charm, hook, line, and sinker, but unbeknownst to them, Team Buddy had a secret of their own. While on the outside they may look like a group of friendly popinjays, on the inside they have a bit of a rough edge. Feast your liquid orbs on these bad boys and girls. These are the true leaders of Team Buddy, including Mr. Full Pomp Buddy himself. And while their intention of uniting the region in friendship remains the same, the true way they're going about it can only be described as villainous. With the help of a scientist, her Mushana, and a big old beehive, Team Buddy created the ultimate substance, Lucid Mist. One whiff of this stuff will give you a free trip to Dreamland, and Team Buddy used this buddyizing material to brainwash people into being eternally happy forever. Team Buddy built a machine that would spread Lucid Mist all over Unova, but thankfully a heroic trainer jumped in to stop this evil scheme. Kapow! Down but not out, Team Buddy still had one more trick up their sleeve. The ancient Pokemon, Jirachi. Using its mystical wish power, Mr. Buddy was going to wish for everyone to be his happy friends forever. As he was about to complete his plan and create a world free of ridicule and full of friendship, the valiant trainer returned once more and struck Mr. Buddy down. Kapow! While Mr. Buddy could still complete his plan and wish his heart's dream into reality, his true friends, aka the admins of Team Buddy, arrived on scene. They talked to Mr. Buddy, and through what else but the power of friendship, he learned an important lesson. Brainwashing people to be happy is wrong, and true friendships are more powerful than those born from hypnotic force. With the day now saved from total atomic buddyization, Mr. Buddy disbanded Team Buddy. He and his troop decided to help Unova by unbrainwashing anyone who was forcibly turned swell. They sought to make friends and aid the region the right way, and though they were met with mixed results at times, they had never been happier with one another than by assisting the region and its people in true friendship. Months passed from this moment of tranquility, and one day Mr. Buddy and his Slodges were hanging out in their new pad. As they were idly perusing the channels of their television device, they were taken for quite a loop when a shocking advertisement played right before their eyes. A brand new salon was opening up in Alola, and not just that, it was being run by Team Buddy! Why would Team Buddy be up and running again? Who could be helming such a dandy or dandily dangerous organization? Are brainwashing bayhives still part of their MO? Many questions were on their domes, and though their tale in Unova might be over, the real saga of Team Buddy was just beginning. Find out what happens next in Mr. Buddy's story in Team Buddy Returns!
Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Mr. Buddy here, and I'm very happy to present to all of you guys my next big video. What if I had a Pokemon Evil Team 2, otherwise known as Team Buddy Returns? This project has been almost 3 years in the making, and it's going to consist of me detailing a hypothetical Pokemon game, which is one of my favorite things to do, that also doubles as the next thrilling chapter in Team Buddy's story. You guys hopefully know all about the Buddyverse by now, which is the shared universe where all my videos take place, and this Team Buddy sequel is not only going to continue the events from my first Team Buddy video, but it will tie into the greater narrative of the Buddyverse at large. There will be bayhives, pompadours, fancy clothing, and of course a whole lot of Lucid Mist. So without further ado, here's the next story in the saga of Team Buddy. Here's what happens when Team Buddy returns. Team Buddy Returns is set within the distant Alola region and takes place a year after the events of Ultra Sun and Moon and the first Team Buddy story, and 6 months after the events of my What If I Made a Pokemon Game video. Now, much like how I made the original Team Buddy narrative a pseudo Black and White 3 and positioned it as a hypothetical sequel game for Unova in which the characters and region were expanded upon, I made the story of Team Buddy Returns feel like a sequel to Ultra Sun and Moon. Within this game's Alola, there's many familiar Pokemon, characters, and routes you can interact with, but I tried to build upon the region in numerous ways by including new areas, new characters, new Pokemon variants, and an alternate path you progress through the islands. The goal I had was to expand the Alola region and make it feel larger and more full, but to do so in a way where it doesn't lose its essence, so to speak. Alright, now that we've covered the basic setting and timeline, let's go through the story more thoroughly now, shall we? When the game begins, you'll be thrown right into the character creator. You'll get to customize some of your trainer's base attributes, and you'll be asked a very important question. What region are you from? Your answer will help determine some important aspects throughout the game, but I'll go over those more specifically later on. After you've created your character, the camera zooms out to show that you're sitting at a desk on your computer, and you suddenly receive a video message from the Alola region's very own intern Faba.
Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Oh, great. Another brat to talk to. Oh,
Hello, this is Faba from the Aether Foundation, and I am unfortunately the one they forced to send messages out to all the Alola adventurer applicants. Let's make this quick, because I'm already getting a headache from talking to such a snot-nosed youth.
Intern Faba, you can't talk to another person that way, especially one that was talented enough to make it into our new program. Aren't there some Mudsdale stables that need to be cleaned?
Miss Wiki, I was just making, I'm sorry,
I'm sorry about our intern. He's still learning how to be a decent human being. Anyways, Alola, my name is Wick, and I'm the Assistant Branch Chief for the Aether Foundation. Congratulations on being accepted into the Foundation's new Alola Adventure Program. You've earned a free trip to Alola, and we have many activities that you and the other applicants can take part in here on our islands. We'll discuss it all in detail when you arrive. Until then, please have safe travels, and we'll see you soon.
Wick waves goodbye and the camera fades to white as it pans up. The music swells and the game's title card rolls into sight. The screen eventually fades to black, and you blink your eyes open and examine your surroundings. A sterile and clean room is laid out before you, and it's sparsely decorated with a small bed, a creepy picture of a smiling Mr. Mime, and a table and chair which you're currently seated at. You look over at the table and see a small tablet-like device laying there. You pick it up, and a pre-recorded video message appears on the display. An older woman who doesn't look a day over 40 is seated in an elegant chair next to a Beware and is casually talking to you.
Welcome to the Alola region. I am Aether President Lucamine, and you are one of the gifted students handpicked by myself to join the Aether Foundation's special Alola Adventure Program. After having a near-death experience last year, I realized that the future of Alola lies with you, the upcoming trainers of the world, and I wanted to create an opportunity to help teach and nurture you fledgling trainers into champions that can stand up to any problem. I will be waiting downstairs to meet all of you and explain more, and I'm happy such promising, adventurous youth are joining us for our new initiative. Oh, P.S. This tablet device is yours to use while you're here. This is a new Pokédex prototype we at the Aether Foundation have been working on in collaboration with our local Pokémon professor. It has many functions. I'm sure you smart children already know that, so I'll spare you an explanation. I'll be waiting for all of you in the lobby.
You pick up your new Aether Pokédex, which has the exact same functions the Rotom Dex does in Ultra, and you exit the room, entering a long hallway. A multitude of doors line the walls, and many people you assume are also here for the Alola Adventure Program are leaving their rooms and walking towards a lift at the far end of the hall. You walk towards the elevator, and as you approach it, a girl named Chris rushes out of her room and accidentally bumps into you, which causes her to drop a Pokeball. A massive Steelix is released into the hallway, and everyone yells and groans as the steel monstrosity takes up all the space.
Sorry, everyone!
Chris returns her Steelix to its Pokeball and catches her breath before talking to you.
Sorry about that. I arrived here a little late, so I just got the message that we have to meet downstairs. Guess I ran a bit too fast, huh? I'm Chris from Johto. Who are you?
You tell Chris who you are and what region you hail from, and she gives you an energetic nod.
Whoa, cool! Nice to meet you, player. I came here for the Alola adventure thing too. Not to brag, but I've already earned 6 gym badges in Johto, so I'm sure I can take on you with your...
Amidst Chris's subtle flexing, she looks to see how many badges you have and is shocked to see that you don't have any.
Whoa! They let you in here without any badges? What? You don't even have a Pokemon either? Whoa, you must be pretty good at Pokemon trivia if they still let you in here.
Chris is stunned at your apparent knowledge of Pokemon, and right as she's about to quiz you, an intercom voice cuts through the air and says the Alola Adventure orientation will be starting soon in the lobby. Chris decides to hold her questions for later and ushers the two of you onto an elevator which slowly descends. It goes down numerous floors, and you step out of it into a large foyer. In front of you, a podium and chairs have been set up, with Wick, the woman you talked to earlier, standing nearby reading over some notes, while many other trainers are scattered around the lobby idly. Mixed in with the various trainers, you see a lot of people who looked like they stepped right out of the 1950s. They're wearing very swell-styled clothing consisting of bow ties, dresses, sweater vests, and a lot of hairspray to keep their dues in check. And they're smiling politely as they mingle with everyone in the room. At this point in the game, you're free to walk around the area and interact with all the people if you'd like. When you talk to the trainers, you find out that they're all from different regions and were accepted into the Alola Adventure program for various reasons. When you speak to the dapperly dressed people, they say various supportive and kind things like complimenting your style of clothing and saying that you're going to do great things in the Alola Adventure program. They don't quite explain who they are just yet, but thankfully Wick is about to start her presentation, so maybe you'll get some answers.
Welcome, everyone. I am the Aether Foundation's branch chief, but please, just call me Wick. The Alola Adventure Initiative is designed for promising trainers, both established and brand new, to come to Alola and learn the skills to become a great trainer. Together with our new friends over at Team Buddy, we've created 2 different pathways you can take while you're here. Our Care Path will let you intern in the Aether Foundation and study the more scientific and nurture side of Pokemon training, while the Island Trial Path focuses on journeying around Alola and honing your Pokemon battle ability. Both are important parts of being a balanced trainer, and if you'd like to intern with the Foundation, come over and talk to me. And if you'd like to take part in the Island Challenge, please walk over to Hao.
A smiling teenager pops out of nowhere and waves to everyone.
Hey, I'm Hal. As Wick just said, if you want to go after the Island Challenge, come over and talk to me, right?
Wick gives a supportive nod, and as she's about to end the presentation, the Team Buddy members whisper something to her, and she smiles and says that they can do that. The Team Buddy members thank her and turn to address the crowd. Thank you, Miss Wick. As Aether's lovely branch chief just mentioned, we're here to help Alola regain its happiness and make some wonderful new friends along the way, so please drop by and say hello if you see us out on your adventure. From all of us at Team Buddy, we wish you the best of luck. Stay swell! The Team Buddy members energetically wave to all of you. Wick joyously claps her hands alongside them, and the presentation officially ends. You're given control to move around once more, and you get to choose which path you want to go down. The Care Path with the Aether Foundation, or the Island Trial Path with Hao. Now, in a somewhat shocking twist, everyone wants to intern with the Aether Foundation. You overhear a lot of people talking about how this will be a nice vacation for them where they can just relax. And some are saying that they heard interdimensional monsters popped up here last year and they want to try and see them. And you can even talk to Chris, who was previously planning on taking part in the island trials. But after hearing about the space monsters that sometimes show up here, she wants to hang around the Aether Foundation. Though I'm sure that many of you are sold on the idea of the Aether Foundation internship and want to participate in it, unfortunately, because this theoretical game is structured like a normal Pokemon game, you have to talk to Hao and go down the Island Trial Path. You go talk to Hao, and he gets excited that at least one person has decided to do the Island Challenge. Hao hands you a fresh malasada he made himself, and you eat it as he goes on to explain the trial system of Alola.
Here in Alola, we have the Island Challenge. which is a special adventure fledgling trainers can take part in. There are 8 trials spread across the Alola Islands, and you have to go to each of them with your Pokemon. Complete whatever task the trial captains ask of you, and defeat a totem Pokemon that'll show up. Simple, right? Well, that's not all. In addition to the 8 trials, there are 4 grand trials you'll need to complete. To complete a grand trial, you'll need to defeat the kahuna of each island. But I should warn you, they're super powerful Pokemon trainers that were chosen by Alola's guardians. Doing all this won't be easy, but once you've completed all 8 trials and the 4 grand trials, you'll finally earn the right to climb Mount Lanakila and challenge the Elite Four of our region. It's a daunting task, I know, but I have a feeling you and your Pokemon are totally going to be up for the challenge.
Hao then notices that you don't actually have any Pokemon with you, and he's shocked.
Whoa, no way! You actually got into the adventure thing without any Pokemon? That's way impressive. You're definitely gonna need some kind of beginning Pokemon though, so I'll give you one if that's cool. When you're ready to begin your journey and get a starter Pokemon, meet me at the docks below this floor, alright? Oh man, this is so exciting! Your first Pokemon!
Hao jumps up excitedly and rides the nearby elevator down to the docks. Unless you want to get left behind, you should probably follow him. As you approach the elevator, you see 2 blonde teenagers walk towards the lobby before stopping and talking to each other in hushed tones.
I'm telling you, Lily, these guys are bad news. I don't know why she's listening to them. You have to trust me on this one.
But Mother's fine now. She's been getting better after all that bad stuff happened. If she would know if something was wrong. You have to trust her, Gladion.
Gladion is frustrated, and both of them then notice you.
Eavesdrop much? Pretty sure that's rude no matter what region you're from.
Gladion storms away and Lily calls after him.
Brother, wait!
Lily gives a heavy sigh and turns back to you. She looks dejected and tries to regain her composure as she talks to you.
I'm sorry you had to hear that. I'm Lily, the daughter of the Aether Foundation president, Lusamine. I take it you're one of the people here on Mother's new initiative? Oh, yes! Mother has been very proud of the idea. She was in a tough place last year and tried to do something to help all of Alola, but things didn't go her way. She came up with the Alola adventure to bring trainers with a lot of potential here so she could guide them to success. That's Gladion. He's my brother. He recently got back from training in a distant region, and he's been incredibly protective since. I understand why, but I wish he could lighten up a little. Oh, you met Hao? I wish I could have said hello. Last year he was doing his island challenge alongside another trainer. Both of them did very well, and Hao decided to follow in his grandfather's footsteps and become a trial captain. Last year feels like so long ago. Yeah, I feel like the name's a bit on the nose for their organization. When Mother was planning out the Alola adventure idea, they offered to help. They're a group that specializes in helping people and Pokemon embrace their happiness. And over the past couple of months, they've been putting in a lot of work to make Alola a better place. I'm sorry we met under such tense circumstances. Regardless, I hope we'll meet again. You remind me a lot of an old friend I had, so I'm expecting great things from you. Farewell and good luck on your island challenge.
You say goodbye to Lily and ride the nearby elevator down to the dock. You see Hao waiting for you on a small skiff, and as you approach him, you catch a glimpse of Gladion talking to a tall woman you recognize as Lusamine out of the corner of your eye. They're having an intense conversation that you can't help but overhear.
You are sounding just like a paranoid child. You want me to ruin this incredible business deal because somebody smiled at you in the hallway?
Yes. Well, no. It wasn't just in the hallway. They're always smiling. And I saw a few of them hanging out in the Aether labs too. That doesn't seem weird to you? You barely allowed Lily and I into the Foundation with supervision. And these guys can go all over the place?
Lusamine pinches the bridge of her nose in frustration, but takes a deep breath as she tries to keep calm.
Gladion, I'm trying to be better, but I can't dissipate a crucial business venture because of your childish concerns. If it makes you feel better, I'm going to talk to their boss today about one of our many complicated agreements you wouldn't understand. And maybe if I have time, I'll bring up your petty worries. If I do that, you have to promise me you'll keep an open mind about everything, though. Team Buddy is interested in helping Alola, and they're boosting my foundation.
Gladion doesn't seem entirely convinced and storms off angrily. Lusamine gives an annoyed huff and tries to compose herself as she struts onto the elevator to no doubt talk to Team Buddy's leader. Thankfully, nobody caught you eavesdropping, listening to conversations on a public dock, and you continue moving towards Hao and the skiff he's waiting on. You hop aboard the boat, and it slowly drifts out to sea until it picks up speed and departs for adventure.
Alright, so we're heading for Melee Island. That'll be the first island you conquer on your journey. Champ in the making. And fun fact, I'm the trial captain of the island. I won't spoil what my trial is until we get there, but I can assure you that in no way involves any of these delicious malasadas.
Hao opens up a secret compartment on the skiff to reveal a basket of freshly made malasadas. Their tantalizing aroma emanates from the boat. In but a few short moments, a swarm of Pick-a-Peck and Wingle have started circling the two of you, screeching for food.
Uh-oh. In hindsight, this might not have been a good idea. I could take care of her with my Raichu, but I think it'd be a lot more fun for you to battle him, player. Here, these are the 3 Alolan region starters. Pick whichever you like and teach those Pokemon a lesson.
Hao pulls out a small basket with 3 Pokeballs in it, containing Rowlet, Litten, and Poplio. After you've chosen a starter, you proceed to have a battle against a Wingle and then a Pick-a-Peck. They're definitely fast creatures and leave a heck of a scratch when they dive bomb you and your Pokemon, but you're able to fend them off and they fly away angrily. Hao is pretty impressed with your skill and says that if you're starting out with so much potential already, you'll no doubt do well in your upcoming journey. The boat continues to zoom along the sea and the camera pans out as you approach Melee Island. The skiff lands at a brand new dock on the eastern coast of Melee. You and Hao exit the ship and follow a small path nearby. You pass by Professor Kukui's home, which is a small house on the beach, and Hao idly mentions that the professor is away but let him borrow his skiff. The two of you keep following the trail further inland until you wind up at the player's house from Ultra Sun and Moon. Hao says that this will be your home while you're here in Alola doing trials. He chuckles to himself because he thought there was going to be a lot more people, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and you're going to get the entire house to yourself. You enter your new dorm and find that it's rather homely, if not a little barren. Hao gives you a small tour of the place, which has been completely refurbished.
So later today, we're gonna have a big festival for you and another starting trainer, because you're beginning your island challenge. I promise it won't be too long, but you definitely gotta stop by, if only to meet the kahuna of the island. When the sun starts setting, you and your Pokemon should travel north to Iki Town, and I'll see you there, okay?
Hao bids you farewell and flip-flops out the door. At this point in the game, you're able to freely move around and explore your Alolan home. There's a couple things you can discover here, so let me briefly talk about them. The first thing is that you can actually decorate your living space. It wouldn't be super extensive customization by any means, this isn't Animal Crossing or anything like that, but it would be more in-depth than something like the secret base creation in past games. You can change the floor, wallpaper, add furniture, and even choose one of your Pokemon to be out of its Pokeball and lounge around in your renovated room. This is all meant to give your house a much more personal quality, and while you're out adventuring through Alola, you can buy and discover more items to customize your summer home with. The other thing you can do here is enter a small side room where you discover that a wild Pokemon has made its nest. You can capture the Pokemon that lives here, and it's actually different depending on what region you chose at the start of the game. If you chose Kanto, it's a Growlithe, Johto, it's a Snubbull, Hoenn, it's a Skitty, Sinnoh, it's a Glameow, Unova, it's a Lillipup, Kalos, it's an Esper, and if you're from Galar, it's a Yamper. Alright, once you've gotten familiar with your new pad, a time skip happens to later in the day. The sun is setting, covering the islands in a beautiful golden glow, and you decide to head over to the festival at Iki Town. Much like in the other Alola games, you get to navigate there yourself and battle wild Pokemon and trainers that are in the way between you and the festival. Along the way, you'll find many Team Buddy members happily cleaning up the environment and being friendly to people in general and trying to give everyone very helpful tips on training, alongside the usual barrage of youngsters, Yungoos, and Alolan Rattata that want to battle you. Some of these battles can be a little bit tough early on, but you soon make it through the rowdy route and proudly march into Iki Town. In front of you, you see Hao talking to a frowning girl roughly around the same age as him and an elderly man that is rather jovial.
Whoa, how's it, player? Long time no see. I want you to meet my Ohana. This is my grandpa Hala and my cousin Ulani.
Well met, young trainer. Hao has told me a lot about you.
Whatever.
Oh, come on, Ulani. Don't be like that. The player is actually really nice and great at battling.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Now there's an idea, young Ulani. We are here for a festival celebrating you and the player's upcoming trials. So why don't the two of you have a battle, It would be a nice way to get to know each other and your Pokemon better.
Ulani rolls her eyes at the idea, but begrudgingly trudges over to a nearby wooden arena. She impatiently waits there for you to battle her, and after Hao and Hala encourage you, you enter the arena yourself and meet her in battle. In case it isn't brazenly clear, Ulani is going to be your main rival in this hypothetical game. She's a brand new Pokemon trainer, having just received the starter that's super effective against yours from Hala, and as you'll find throughout the story, her personality is in stark contrast to her cousins. She actually lives in a faraway region, but her parents felt like her coming to Alola and doing the island trials might help round out her rather, sharp edges, so to speak. Your battle commences, and you and your starter are swept into an intense duel against Ulani. Your Pokemon have a solid battle, exchanging hits evenly throughout, although there comes a moment in the skirmish where your partner Pokemon delivers a decisive blow to Ulani's starter. It gets knocked out instantly, and though she's put up quite a fight, Ulani now has to taste bitter defeat.
Whatever. I guess you are strong. But it's not like anybody watching really cares. My Pokemon and I are totally going to beat you next time.
Hao and Hala praise you both for a great first battle, although Ulani has become frustrated. They do their best to offer her encouraging words, but they don't seem to quite resonate with her. The festival rages on into the night. You talk more with Hao's family and some of the other villagers, and it seems that many people were captivated by your battle with Ulani. A disturbance arises at the front gate. Everyone is gasping in shock as something moves through the crowd. You eventually see a dapper man wearing a sweater vest strut up to you.
Whoa! Professor Kukui, is that you? You look different somehow. Wait, why are you wearing a shirt?
Oh, hello there, sport. I just thought I would get dressed up for this dandy celebration.
The four of you that aren't wearing sweater vests look at each other confused, and Kukui's creepy smile never falters as he stares at you.
So, I take it the new spa in Hau'oli City is pretty good, Kukui?
Oh, yes indeedy. I had such a swell time there, and I think all of us should go. I'm planning to take my precious wife later, so maybe we could all go together.
Right. So, Professor, you had something to give our new island challengers, correct?
Oh goodness, I almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me, Hala. Please, children, stop by my house on the western shoreline when you have time. I have a going-away gift for both of you.
Kukui gives pleasant farewells to each of you as he strolls out of the festival. On his way out, you see that he is saying cordial remarks to literally everybody and every Pokemon he passes. Once he's out of sight, an awkward silence is present between you and Hao's family.
Well, that was weird.
Maybe he was in the hot tub too long.
Regardless, Kukui is still the Alola region's resident professor, so even though he's acting a bit strange right now, Player and Ulani should go see what he wants to give you. He's been working with the Aether Foundation on a new Pokédex, so maybe he has something related to that for you.
You heed Hala's advice, and you and Ulani leave the festival to go visit Kukui's lab down by the shore. When you walk in, you're immediately greeted by Kukui's unflinching smile. He ushers you inside with many pleasantries, including some pink malasadas he just baked. Ulani rolls her eyes and bluntly asks why he wanted to see the two of you. Kukui shows no sign of being offended by Ulani's rudeness, and his over-cheerfulness quickly overpowers the dour mood.
The reason I called you two youths here today is that I have some special features to put on your Pokédex. I've been developing the Aether decks with those swell fellows at the Aether Foundation, and I have some new updates ready.
Kukui takes your Pokédexes, and after pressing a few buttons, he hands them back to you. He's updated them with 2 new applications. The catalog will allow you to order furniture for your home decorating needs, including some vintagely themed stuff, which Kukui says is a swell bonus, and the Poké Pelago, which I'm sure you guys all remember from the original Gen 7 games. After updating your Pokédexes, Kukui gets serious for a moment, or at least as serious as someone who can't stop smiling can get, and he gets on one knee to meet you both at eye level.
Now, before I turn you rascals loose, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Ultra Wormholes. These are something really special in Alola. They're beautiful portals that lead to other dimensions. Now, I know that sounds like hogwash, but trust me, they can be rather dangerous due to the beasts that lurk within them. So please, don't go hurting yourselves. The last thing I'd want is for you to get roughed up in a battle with a monster.
Don't you study Pokemon attacks? Wouldn't it be cool to see an interdimensional creature up close?
Oh, darling, that's much too boorish for me now. I'm but a happy professor living a happy life without such dangers. Oh, it's almost time for me to read a bedtime story to the local Pukumuku. Good luck out there, you two, and have a swell time on your island challenge.
You and Ulani thank Kukui for the Pokédex upgrades, and he waves goodbye to both of you as he ushers you out of his home. Once outside, Ulani grumbles to herself and walks away to begin her journey. You give a tentative glance back at Kukui's house, sensing that something was kind of weird about that, but you soon leave the beach as well. At this point, your Alolan adventure truly begins, and you're on a mission to explore Melee Island and find the first trial you must complete. As you're looking for trial number 1, you can catch wild Pokemon, battle other trainers, talk with helpful Team Buddy members scattered almost everywhere, and even just hang out in your summer home and decorate it if you so choose. When you try to go over to the large Hau'oli city like you normally would in Ultra, you'll find that a crowd of people are blocking the road right after the Pokemon Center. You can't see what's going on, but everyone seems to be really interested in a new etiquette school that's just opened up in place of the trainer school. Seeing as how you have no other way to get past them currently, you'll have to travel counterclockwise around the island by going north across a bridge, journeying past Melee Meadow where you'll see Ulani hanging out, and snake your way around the western coastline. Once you've gone through all of that, you'll reach the entrance to the Verdant Cavern, and you'll spot Hao hanging out in front of it. He says that this is where your first trial will take place, at least once he's ready. He sheepishly admits that he's still getting things set up and suggests you go check out Hau'oli City until he's able to get things up and running. You totally understand and continue traveling south to the shining and happy city of Hau'oli. You sightsee and shop around for a while, and your tourism eventually takes you by a house where you hear somebody yelling for help. You rush into the yard and see a rather rough dude with a pompadour and spiky leather clothing holding a teenager by the collar and shaking them.
Please, somebody help me.
Hey, tell me where you're keeping Cherry and I'll stop shaking you, half-pint.
I told you, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, whatever, I heard ya. You're not buddy-eyes, but I ain't falling for that. Nobody would dress this fancy of their own free will. Tell me where your boss is, ankle biter.
You approach the two people, and the rough dude glares at you for interrupting. You and your Pokemon face him down with a serious stare, and his expression changes to one of curiosity as he hesitantly puts down the pink-haired kid.
Hey, do I know you? You look really familiar. Something about you has that hero vibe I've seen floating around with some trainers. Whatever. Huh? You want to know who I am? Well, I'm Buddy, and I've come to Alola on an important mission. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what it is in case you're one of them. But I've got a good feeling about you, kid. You look good with the pompadour, I'll tell you that much.
He frowns over suspiciously at Ilima and leans close to you and says,
Watch out for people like him, alright? Trust me, no good can come from these fancy-dressed happy people. Anyways, get bent. Sorry, force of habit. I'm just gonna leave.
Buddy hustles away into the depths of the city, and you and the pink-haired kid watch him escape into the crowds. The pink-haired teen is rather confused at what just happened, but he tries to shake it off and introduce himself as Ilima, a former trial captain of the region and one of the more technologically apt people of the community. He doesn't know why that strange man attacked him, but says that he kept saying over and over that he never meant for any of this to happen, and was demanding to know where someone named Cherry was. Ilima is unsure as to what it all means, but shrugs it off and says that he's had to deal with far worse thugs than that. Eventually, your conversation with Ilima turns to the new etiquette school that's opening up east of Hau'oli. Supposedly, it's mostly the same as the old trainer school that was there, as it will still teach people to be better trainers, but apparently it also has a focus on manners now? It seems kind of weird to Ilima, but he still wants to check it out for his own when he has time. Seeing as how Hao is still setting up his trial for you, you decide to go check out this alleged etiquette school and see what's up with it for yourself. You travel through Hau'oli City going right and eventually join in with a large crowd of people standing in front of the school's gate. You can barely make out the top of a large dome of hair, and as the crowd shifts and moves closer, you get a better view of a woman with a large beehive, smiling broadly while many students and Team Buddy members are behind her.
Welcome, dearies, to the grand opening of Mele Mele Etiquette School.
There's a weird feeling of stiffness with all the students who are just smiling blankly at the crowd.
I'm the head aesthetician from the newly opened Team Buddy Salon in Hau'oli. Our mission with this swell etiquette school is to help those with problems in attitude and manners embrace the warmth of happiness. So far, we've had a 100% success rate, and we've even been endorsed by some world-famous Pokemon champions.
The crowd lets out some impressed murmurs, and the doctor, whose name is Fennel, gives a beaming smile as she continues on.
My students have been trained in a variety of different skills. They're happy and polite, can sing and dance, have excellent fashion sense, and there are no slouches when it comes to Pokemon battling.
The crowd whispers excitedly at the mention of Pokemon battles, and Fennel continues talking as she struts around.
To show off how swell I've made all my students, I'm going to need a volunteer.
She stops in front of you and gives a broad smile that borders on painful.
Will you help me give my darlings a test, dear? You look like a strong and capable trainer, and I just need you to go through the etiquette school and have a friendly Pokemon spar with my students. I promise it won't take long.
How can you say no when someone asks for help so politely? You agree to help Fennel and tell her your name, and she claps her hands together in joy.
Splendid! There are 4 students around campus, and once you've tested all of them, stop by my office in the main building.
At this point, you get to go around the schoolyard and battle the 4 etiquette school students. This is reminiscent of what you did in Sun and Moon, but the key difference here is that all the students seem overly happy and courteous, often giving you items after you've defeated them, like potions, berries, and even small pearls. Interestingly enough, they only use fairy-type Pokemon. Once you've found and defeated the 4 friendly trainers, who despite their nice demeanor have trained their Pokemon to really pack a wallop in battle, you can enter the main schoolhouse. The entire building has had a vintage makeover, and you find Argyle patterns, checkerboard floors, and pastel colors have taken over. You can enter some of the classrooms and find some rather interesting classes being taught, like one about how to smile properly, and another that teaches you how to perfectly dress your Pokemon in delightful clothing, but none of these swell classes are why you're here. You move with purpose up to Fennel's office, and she's very happy you managed to best all of her students.
Oh, marvelous! You did such a swell job. I know this is sudden, but will you have a battle with me, player? If you don't have time, or don't want to, I completely understand, but watching you and your Pokemon's friendship has gotten me so excited. I want to give you a small test to see how you're progressing on your Alola adventure.
You give her a curious eyebrow raise when she mentions the Alola adventure program, and she lets out a small giggle.
Of course! As one of Team Buddy's leading aestheticians, I'm very in tune with everything our organization is doing to help return the smiles to all the people in Pokemon of Alola. Not only do I run this swell etiquette school, I also oversee the newly opened Buddy Salon in Hau'oli. You should stop on by, darling.
You give her a solid maybe, and on that note, you have a Pokemon battle against Dr. Fennel. On her team, she uses a Munna and Comfey, and though this is supposed to be a friendly battle, Fennel's Pokemon don't go down all that easy. In fact, at times, you can swear that her smile shifts into something maniacal looking when her Pokemon damage yours. Eventually, you and your team pull through and defeat the happy aesthetician, and she gives a wide smile and says that you and your Pokemon did just lovely.
Oh, golly! You and your Pokemon have such a splendid bond that I feel you've earned a nice reward.
She glances expectantly at her desk for something, but all that's there are a bunch of hairspray cans and vintage novels.
Phooey, you'll have to forgive me. I thought I'd have it ready for you, player, but you'll have to give me just a little bit longer, okay? Continue on your Alola adventure and I'll have this swell surprise ready for you as soon as I can. You're going to love it.
Fennel does appear to be apologetic, although it's hard to see with her unflinching grin, but either way, you thank her for the future gift and say farewell as you exit the etiquette school. As you're leaving the area, you bump into none other than Ulani. She scowls at you, and as she examines the surrounding etiquette school, her expression gets more and more irritated.
What is with this place? Could it be any more gaudy? We're in the modern era, not my grandma's closet. Whatever. So, Hao told me to come tell you that his trial is ready. It's just over at Verdant Cavern, so you can go over there whenever. Guess I'll hang around here for a while and see if I can get some good battles in.
You thank Ulani for the heads up and return to the Verdant Cavern to take on your first trial. When you enter the grassy cave, you see Hao hanging out by a small table, and there's a plethora of cooking equipment and ingredients spread across it.
Welcome to the Verdant Cavern trial. Thanks for waiting for me to get stuff set up. And I can't wait to see how you overcome what I've got in store for you.
Hao gives you a small basket containing a couple cooking-related items, and with that, your first trial begins. So Hao's trial revolves around a new mechanic that would be in this hypothetical game, malasada cooking. The items Hao gave you at the start all tie into this gameplay mechanic, and it plays out like a blend between poffin making and cooking mama. You can use berries and other ingredients you find on your journey to make a variety of different malasadas that have various effects when fed to your Pokémon, and some of the beginner flavors you can make will heal Pokémon, raise their friendship levels, and even cure status effects. Speaking of status conditions, Hao says there are 3 Pokémon in the Verdant Cavern that are suffering from status ailments, and your task for his trial is to make 3 different malasadas that will heal them. The ingredients to do so are scattered around the cavern, and Hao mentions there might be wild Pokemon guarding the items you need, so be prepared for a battle. You officially start your trial now and go through the cave tracking down ingredients, battling Yungoos and Alolan Rattata guarding them, and cooking malasadas with the items to help the injured Pokemon. Once you've evaded the poisonous bites of the wild Pokemon and aided all 3 of the ill ones you were supposed to find, Hao jumps up and down excitedly.
Whoa, no way! You did that so fast! Well, looks like I'll need to make this trial a little harder for other people. This was actually my first time doing a trial, but it was a ton of fun.
Hao stands there ecstatic, and there's a semi-awkward pause as he realizes there's one more step you have to do in a trial.
Oh yeah! You're supposed to battle a totem Pokemon now. Here, take this big Malasada and go into the small room at the end of the cave.
Hao gives you a massive Malasada, and you drag it into a small offshoot room from the main cavern. It's a small circular battlefield with an open ceiling letting in a cool breeze, and at the far side you see a small altar. You flop the gigantic beanbag-sized Malasada down in front of it and wait for something to happen. Almost instantly, you hear a loud flapping sound. You focus up into the sky and see a giant Trumbeak descending upon the Malasada. It lets out an earth-shattering screech, and the battle music kicks in to let you know that your first totem battle has just begun. You battle the gigantic totem Trumbeak, who can call Pick-a-Peck to its aid. You meet your flying foe in combat, and though the battle is tough, with the Trumbeak's speed stat being raised, with determination you're able to dodge its talons and wear it down into submission. Once beaten, it lets out a deafening screech of anger and flies out of the cave, carrying the beanbag Malasada with it. You and your Pokémon are proud of yourselves for handling the totem like a boss, and Hao runs into the room congratulating you.
Whoa, you did it again, player! You're totally the whole package, and I'm proud to say that you've completed my trial. Take one of those Z crystals out of the altar up there, 'cause you totally earned it.
You walk up to the altar and grab one of these small crystals, which is a Normalium Z, and with that, trial number 1 is officially over. Hau gives you a proud high five and says the Normalium Z is something called a Z crystal, which will allow you and your Pokemon to push the limits of your power and do a special Z move attack. Unfortunately, you can't use it just yet. You need a Z-ring to harness the power, and he says that his grandpa should be able to help you out with that. You're going to be meeting up with Hala anyways to do a grand trial, so you might as well ask him about a Z-ring. You thank Hau for the info and leave the Verdant Cavern to return to Iki Town and face Hala. When you arrive, you find Hala hanging out on the town's wooden stage. He gives a hearty laugh as you stand opposite of him.
Ho ho ho! Welcome, young trainer. It seems you have completed your first trial and are ready to move on from the island. Before you can do that, though, you must face me, Kahuna Hala, in a Pokemon battle. This will be your grand trial for Mele Mele Island, so don't hold back. Old Hala's here to make you holler.
Hala stomps the ground and strikes a battle pose, and you call out your Pokemon to face his in the grand trial of Mele Mele Island. On his team, he uses a Mankey, Makuhita, and a Crabrawler that has a Phytinium Z. You defeat Hala with a decisive strike, and he chuckles to himself as he calls back his KO'd Pokemon.
Well done. You have completed my grand trial, so here, take this Phytinium Z.
Hala hands you a Z crystal, and you stand triumphant as you've completed your first grand trial. The fanfare fades, and in the distance you hear a Kukui! Kukui! The both of you turn to observe the nearby forest and see a Pokemon fly out of the brush and land in front of you. It drops a sparkling stone on the ground, and Hala doesn't seem the least bit fazed.
Ah, it seems Tapu Koko, our island guardian, has recognized your strength and given you a gift. With this special stone, I might be able to fashion you a Z-ring, young trainer. I should be surprised at this turn of events, but it seems this happens all the time.
There's a brief moment where Hala and Tapu Koko's eyes lock, and Hala's expression turns to one of curiosity then concern. Tapu Koko lets out one more Kukui! And flies back into the forest. Hala appears deep in thought for a moment before talking to you.
It seemed Tapu Koko sensed something was wrong, huh? You get that feeling too? Tapu Koko's instincts are never incorrect, but I hope this isn't something as cataclysmic as what happened last year. Could whatever is wrong be why Tapu Koko has given you a sparkling stone? I'm sorry, player. I didn't mean to get so serious. Give me a moment, and I'll see if I can make you a Z-ring.
The screen fades to black, and when it fades back in, Hala has turned Tapu Koko's gift into a Z-ring that he's presenting to you.
Well, here it is. Try it on, and let me know what you think. This Z-ring will allow you to use Z-crystals you collect on your journey. It's one of the staples of the Alola region and our island challenge.
Suddenly, Ulani and Hau run up from the trail and gather around you.
No way! You got a Z-ring? How am I supposed to stand a chance battling you now? Can I have one too, Gramps?
Hey, come on, Ulani. You know Tapu Koko has to find you worthy before you get one, right?
Yeah, but...
Ulani tries to push past her jealousy and hands you a Pokeball with an Argyle pattern on it.
Anyways, while I was at that weird etiquette school, the lady in charge asked me to give this to you. I don't know why you got something cool when you beat her, and all I got was a free trip to a stupid spa I'm never gonna go to.
As you hold the dandy Pokeball, your Aether Dex pops out of your bag and scans it, digitizing it into the air. A small display shows up on its screen and says that you have one ride Pokemon available. You tap the button, and in a flash of light, the Pokeball you just received appears in front of you and calls out the Pokemon inside. Before you stands a Furfrou, but it's not like anyone you've ever seen before. It's rocking a 10 out of 10 Bayhive and seems to be emanating a slight fairy aura.
What just happened?
I think the player just got a ride Pokemon. Here in Alola, people like to work in tandem with Pokemon and ride them while doing different tasks. Seems the player was given one by the etiquette school, and their Aether Dex is going to store all of them so they have easy access. Pretty cool.
But why does the Furfrou look like that? That isn't how it normally looks.
Furfrou can have a lot of hairstyles, so maybe this is a new one that's in style. I think you could learn a thing or two from it, Alani.
What? No way! Take that back, Hal!
I'm just joking. What say we go back to Verdant Kemmer and get your trial started, yeah? I just wanted to drop by to see how the player did against Grandpa, but I should have known they'd do super well. Anyways, good to see all of you guys, and Alani, I'll see you back at Verdant Cavern to get you started on the Furfrou hairstyle trial.
Hao smiles and waves goodbye as he runs off. Ulani fumes at Hao as she stumbles to catch him.
No! Hal, wait! I'm not doing that!
Hala gives a lighthearted chuckle at his grandkids and turns back to you. He says your next goal is to journey to other islands and take part in their trials and grand trials. And he recommends you go check out the ferry in Hau'oli to see where it can take you. You bid farewell to Hala and travel to Hau'oli City to find a way to the next island. As soon as you enter town, you see a mysterious woman admiring the city. She's dressed in elegant, although vintage-style clothing and has a demure smile.
Everything is so happy now.
She notices you behind her and turns to greet you with a broad smile. Your senses are assaulted by the overly sweet perfume she's wearing, and it almost looks like a cloud of mist is emanating from around her.
Oh, golly! I didn't see you there, darling. You gave me quite the startle.
The mysterious woman fluffs her fur and pats the creases out of her dress as she saunters up to you.
I'm just passing through this swell city to check in on a few things, but I'm so happy I bumped into a trainer like you. You look so nice and friendly. What is your name, sweetie?
You hesitantly share your name with her, and her smile grows wider, almost hiding a hint of sinister intent.
Oh, what a lovely name.
The stranger gets a little bit too close, and you get a face full of her perfume, which smells like dizziness. You hear the woman say something to you, but you don't understand what. Everything is distorting and blending together, and when you finally regain your senses, you see the woman walking away. She turns and lets out a cute giggle as she gives you a small princess wave and minces into a building called the Buddy Salon. You're not entirely sure what just happened, and if you try to go into the salon to find the strange woman, she won't be there, and instead you'll be met with the sight of many people and their Pokemon smiling vacantly while getting their hair done in 1950s style hairdryers. At the moment, you can't explore much of the salon outside of the general lobby area, which has a faint pink haze hanging around in the air, and when you try to talk to people to get some clues on the swell woman you encountered, they don't seem entirely cognizant and can only muster up happy hums and drooling. Seeing as how you can't do much here yet, you leave the vintage salon and head towards the ferry pier like you originally intended. When you arrive, the stewardess regrettably informs you that the ferry is out of service until tomorrow. The captain has become afflicted with a strange illness and feels much too dizzy to sail. She apologizes for any inconvenience this may have caused and says that if you really need to get to another island, you can try Mantine surfing. Inconvenienced but not deterred, you trek over to Mele's northern beach. Your Mantine chariot awaits. But before we take it over to the next island, I wanted to go over a couple activities you can do on Mele now that your grand trial is complete. So the first thing to note is that the ride Furfrou you received is the Tauros equivalent in this game. When you ride it, you travel a lot faster than normal, and it can break through boulders blocking your path by using its hairspray amplified headbutt attack. As far as its utility on Mele goes, you can use its rock smashing power to gain access to a hidden network of caves connected to the Mele meadow. You can use its speed to dash up steep inclines in the Verdant Cavern and discover a hidden area with a lot of rare Pokemon and items, and you can use it to enter a mountainous area known as 10 Carat Hill. 10 Carat Hill is still right next to Kukui's lab, and after you break the rocks in front of it to go inside, something strange happens. The sky darkens for a moment and a portal, nay, an ultra wormhole fractures the sky and a screaming person falls out of it. They land inside of 10 Carat Hill with a resounding thud and the ultra wormhole fizzles away. You dash into 10 Carat Hill to see what the heck just happened, and after going through a small cave segment, you arrive inside of its massive crater. At the far end, you see a dazed woman sprawled on top of a fluffy object, and upon closer inspection, it appears she landed on a pack of rock ruff who aren't too happy to be the ones to break her fall.
Like, oh my god, what happened? Where am I?
The rock ruff underneath her bark in rage and go into a frenzy as they roughly shake her away.
Like, owie! Oh my god, you stupid dogs, take a chill pill. Aren't you stupid Pokemon supposed to be, like, mellow or whatever? I'm totes gonna be pissed if you make me break a nail.
The pack of Rockruff apparently don't respect the valley nor the people from there. They circle around the woman, whose RBF quickly turns into an eye roll, and before things can escalate too far, you jump in to save the girl from the wild Pokemon. You now get to have a horde battle against the 5 Rockruff, which is much easier said than done. There's a lot of howling and rock throws received on you and your Pokemon's end, but thankfully your willpower is stronger than theirs and you take care of them. After you teach the Rockruff a lesson, they whimper away and you turn back to the woman and find that she was so bored by your battle that she started doing her nails. She notices you staring and she glares at you.
Like, what? Just 'cause you, like, battled them for me doesn't mean I owe you anything, loser. You, like, took forever, too. My daddy would have wiped the floor with his stupid dig trio or whatever.
She walks away and pulls out her phone.
Hey, like, Rosa, it's Hilda. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but at my model shoot, I, like, fell into a hole thingy and this gross loser started talking to me. Yeah, it's totes, like, just gag me. Oh my god! What do you mean Rosa's answering machine is full, you dumb phone?
I hope you didn't expect any kind of reward for saving Hilda, because you don't get anything aside from the opportunity to capture a Rockruff. It might feel like this entire sequence was pointless, but trust me, Hilda is going to tie more into this story later. You continue journeying around Melee, and when you're ready to get onto more trials, you can Mantine Surf over to the next island. The Mantine Surf minigame is practically identical to what it was in Ultra, and you use it to travel to the nearby Akala island. You arrive at Akala on a new beach which is close to Koni City, and right when you roll in, you see a scuffle happening nearby. A couple thugs dressed in black with skull hats are terrorizing people trying to have a good time by breaking their surfboards.
Yo, y'all should know better than to be so good at surfing. We're gonna break your surfboards so you don't break our records. Ain't that right, eh?
You know it, B. Let's teach him a lesson that you don't mess with Team Risco.
As they're breaking people's surfboards, unaware this is a Mantine surf beach and the boards were for decoration, a couple people dressed in vintage-style clothing, who you recognize as members of Team Buddy from the Aether Foundation, saunter up to the 2 troublemakers. They're smiling blissfully as they calmly try to talk to them.
Oh gosh, I love the energy, you two, but could you please stop being so disruptive? We want to make this beach a happy place where happy people can gather, and I'm afraid you're both acting a little too mean.
The Reskull grunts glance at each other with an "are you serious right now" expression, and they hurl insults at the 2 dapper people as they skeleton pose towards them menacingly. The 2 Team Buddy grunts try to suppress a giggle, and one of them spots you in the distance and waves you over.
Yoo-hoo! Darling trainer! You look rather strong. Would you please help us deal with these hooligans? It would mean ever so much to us, as we didn't bring our Pokemon here.
You decide to help Team Buddy, if only to make Team Reskull stop breaking things. You match the Reskull grunt swagger and proceed to engage them in battle. They use the same types of Pokemon they did in Ultra, which means that a lot of poison types are coming your way. And though they walk the walk, they can't talk the talk, or battle the battle, and succumb to your superior Pokemon combat strategies. I mean, they are still a version of Team Skull after all. The defeated Reskull grunts frantically turn to each other and back to you, then see the smiling people slowly approaching them.
Whoa! You can't let this happen to us, dog! After what they did to our fam, I don't want to be like that!
Come on! Let's get out of here before the nice zombies get us!
The Reskull grunts push past you and hightail it out of the beach. The Team Buddy grunts give out lighthearted laughs, and their eyes become deadly focused. One of them saunters after the two escaping grunts, while the other stays to talk to you. The happy person gives you a special voucher, which when redeemed at any of these salons or apparel shops will unlock special vintage-style clothing you can buy and hairdos you can wear.
Oh heavens! Where are my manners? We are members of Team Buddy, the Aether Foundation's new partner organization. We're here to help Alola get back in touch with its happiness. And we've been working to put a smile on everybody's face.
The Team Buddy member flashes a brilliant smile, and it almost makes you forget that Team Reskull ran away from them in terror mere moments ago.
We've been met with such kindness here, but for some reason those Team Reskull fellows are being such troublemakers. We had heard they'd stopped being dowdy a year ago, but for some reason they've been acting up recently and being so naughty. It's quite a curious conundrum, but that's just one of the reasons why Team Buddy is here to help Alola. You may look at those poor Team Reskull grunts and see something irredeemable, but through the lens of Team Buddy, we can help them become well-adjusted members of society.
You hear somebody calling from off-screen and glance over to see that the other Team Buddy member has returned, and not only that, but they were able to capture one of the Reskull grunts. They're waving happily, and the buddy member you're talking to waves back excitedly.
Oh, well done. I'm sorry, player. You'll have to excuse us. We need to go ensure this man gets the help he needs. If you see any more Team Reskull hooligans causing trouble, don't hesitate to give us a ring. Ha ha ha. Ta-ta for now.
The two Team Buddy members happily hum as they drag away the captured Reskull grunt, and the last thing you hear are his cries for help as he's yelling that he doesn't want to go away forever. Well, that's not gonna haunt my nightmares. Getting back to your journey, you travel north from the Mantine Surf Beach and you come to a crossroads. If you go left, you'll enter Coney City, right leads to the Ruins of Life, and straight up goes into Diglett's Tunnel. Within the game, you're free to go in any of the directions you like, but you do hear some loud arguing coming from Diglett's Cave, so let's start there and go check it out. When you get inside, you'll be met with a lot of ground and rock-type Pokemon to capture. You'll also see a lot of construction equipment scattered around. You follow the loud voices and make your way through about a fourth of the cave before you get stopped by a pair of construction workers who say that a new trial captain is supposed to be here leading them, but they've mysteriously vanished. They're arguing about what to do and say that if you see them anywhere to let them know that they're ready to get started with the project. You say you will, and just like that, you have a new goal. Find the trial captain who will help you get through Diglett's Cave. You go back to the crossroads, and as you're deciding where to go next, you notice a man with a flaming red afro running to the right. Could this be the mysterious trial captain you're looking for? Only one way to find out, so you decide to follow him and see where he's going. You tail him through a small seaside route where you'll weave in and out of a graveyard, battle side trainers who aren't really in the mood to fight, and capture ghost-type Pokemon. When you're past all of this, you'll find yourself in a medium-sized clearing. At the far end, you see a closed gate that leads to the Ruins of Life, but in between you and the door is the red-haired man. He seems to be searching for something, and as you approach, he jumps to face you excitedly.
Cynthia? Oh, sorry.
The man is embarrassed and tries to save face.
My name's Flint. I'm a member of the Elite Four in Sinnoh. Hey, you haven't by chance seen a blonde woman anywhere, have you? I know that's a little vague, but she's tall, wears black, has a crazy strong Garchomp. You can't miss her. Her name's Cynthia, and she's the Sinnoh champion. She was supposed to return to the league months ago, but for some reason she never came back from her vacation. Thought I'd check around Alola and see if I could find her, but honestly, I haven't really got a clue where to look.
You tell Flint you saw somebody who sort of matched that description on Melee, and he gets amped up.
Yo, you're sure it was her? Or at least you think it was her? Honestly, that's good enough for me. I'll go check out Hau'oli and investigate. In the off chance it's not Cynthia, though, I want to let you borrow one of my Pokemon, alright? You've got a fire burning inside you for helping people, and it's only fair for you to use my Infernape to help look for her.
Flint hands you a Pokeball containing his Infernape, which is scanned by your Aether Dex and cataloged with your ride Pokemon, and he jogs out of the ruins to go find Cynthia. Now before we move on with this story, I want to highlight what the Infernape Flint is letting you borrow can do. It's one of your ride Pokemon in the region, and how it works is that when you're adventuring, you'll see places with gaps and drops that have a tree branch over them. Infernape is able to hang from the branch using its tail, and you can grab its arms and swing over edges and drops you normally couldn't. On every island, there would be areas like this where you need Infernape's help to cross, and though he isn't a typical ride Pokemon, he's still incredibly helpful all the same. Okay, getting back to your adventure, now that you've explored 2 out of the 3 crossroad routes, let's check out the final path by going left. This will take you to Koni City, which is 99% identical to how it was in Ultra. You can enter various stores, meet the trial captain Lana's family who say that Lana is out by Brooklet Hill testing her new trial, and you can even talk to the police officers at the station who say that crime in Alola has dropped exponentially since Team Buddy arrived. It's overall a pretty normal town to explore, although there is one thing that stands out, which is that one of the buildings has a very 1950s exterior to it that clashes with the rest of the town's aesthetic. As you walk into the shop, you find that the interior is no different from the exterior, and it's had a complete makeover to become more vintage. You see a woman in a classy white dress happily helping some customers buy engagement rings for their Pokemon, and when they leave, she comes up to you.
What can I help you with, honey? Are you looking to get a swell ring or a necklace? Maybe a cute brooch for your Pokemon?
You tell the woman about the construction workers looking for the trial captain, and she lets out a surprised gasp.
Oh gosh golly, I forgot about my prior engagement. Thank you so much for reminding me, dearie. I better get over to Diglett's tunnel lickety-split and set up my trial.
You must look pretty puzzled because Olivia gives a faint giggle.
Oopsie, you don't know me yet. I'm Olivia, sweetie. I'm the new trial captain of Akala Island. I take it you're one of those swell Alola adventure applicants, right? In that case, meet me at Diglett's tunnel and you can challenge my trial.
Olivia gives you a wink as she walks out of her store. You follow her back to Diglett's tunnel and once inside, find her waiting for you while talking to the construction workers.
Thank you for coming to my special trial, darling. Normally, I have a rather dull and boorish rock opera going on, but I've just been feeling so gosh darn swell lately that I wanted to do something different. For my new trial, we'll be making a paved trail through Diglett's tunnel so people don't get so frazzled and dirty while skipping happily around the area. Doesn't that just sound so pleasant?
To give more detail on this trial, Olivia has tasked you with making a stone pathway through the cave, and there are 2 stages to this challenge you must complete. In the first, you have to go to 4 very distinct rocks throughout the area and use your Pokemon strength to break them into multiple pieces, which the construction workers then haul back to the main path. Wild Pokemon like Sableye, Diglett, and Boldore are guarding these rocks, so be prepared for a skirmish when you try to take them. The second phase of the trial begins when you attain all the chunks of rock, and you then have to complete a puzzle where you move and rotate the pieces into place. Your goal is to organize the slabs of stone into a seamless pathway, and it's a little reminiscent of those sliding block puzzles where you can't pick up any of the pieces and have to slide things specifically around each other into place. Once you've finished constructing a flawless pathway, you'll notice that one piece is strangely missing. Olivia ponders where it might have went, and you suddenly hear a loud behind you. You turn and see a large Alolan Graveler yelling at the 2 of you while a slab of rock is stuck to its face.
Oh, mercy! Looks like some of the stone for our walkway is magnetic. It seems that the Totem Graveler is a little grumpy. So perhaps you should try and calm it down with a battle.
The Graveler lets out another roaring yell, and you call out your Pokemon to battle the gigantic totem monster. This Graveler is able to summon Roggenrola and Geodude to its aid, and I hope you like getting rocks thrown at you because that's what these Pokemon specialize in. When your Pokemon have eventually cracked through the tough opposition, the magnetic slab stuck to the Graveler drops to the ground, and the oversized Pokemon crankily rolls back into the darkness of its cave. Olivia is delighted that you completed her trial and gives you a Rockium Z as proof of your victory. She also gives you a small collection of evolution stones, including a fire, water, leaf, and thunderstone, as a personal gift from her and says to stop by her jewelry store anytime you're in town. You thank Olivia for the gifts and continue onwards with your journey. While Olivia was talking with you, the construction workers put the finishing touches on the pathway you helped create, and there's now a smooth road you can follow that takes you out of Diglett's tunnel and into Hia City. You can wander around and explore the town if you want, and some of the cooler things you can discover here include a clothing store, so you can finally redeem that voucher that Team Buddy Grunt gave you and get your sweater vest on, and you can visit the Tidesong Hotel where you'll find Flint. Flint says he was going to go over to Melee and look for Cynthia, but the ferry captain isn't feeling well, so he's kinda stranded here. When you leave the Tidesong Hotel and try to travel right and enter Route 4, you'll find a 1950s-style truck is blocking the route, and it's also filled with a ton of containers that have a hazardous materials warning on them. You're not sure what the heck is happening, but with the route blocked off for now, you decide to go back to Hiahia's Main Street and travel east. You'll travel uninterrupted for a while until you get in front of the Dimensional Research Lab, Alola's premier institute for studying parallel dimensions. As you're walking by this building, you'll see Greaser Buddy is also walking towards it. You make eye contact with him for an extended period of time, not knowing what to do, and he coolly tries to slink away from the building without any kind of problems.
Hey, pompadour guy, what do you think you're doing?
Ulani runs up beside you and points her finger confrontationally at him. He's confused at what's happening and still tries to slip away.
Not so fast. Team Buddy told me all about you and what you're trying to do. You're a villain, and we gotta stop you.
What the hell? Who is this sassy lost child? Is she with you, kid?
Hey, I can hear you, you know.
Ulani gets annoyed and turns to you.
I know he looks like a loser, but Team Buddy told me he's super dangerous. We've gotta stop him before he does anything bad. You battle him, and I'll go find someone to help.
Hey, I can hear you too! Ulani runs to find help, and you approach Buddy ready to battle. Hey, even though you're an ankle batter, I thought you were smarter than this, kid. I'm a good guy now, I promise. You're not buying it and get your Pokemon ready to battle. He sighs and also reaches for his Pokemon too. Ugh. Even when I'm trying to fix my mistakes, I still mess up somehow. Aight, cool, whatever. If you want to battle, let's go. I'm gonna waste you, your Pokemon, and then maybe you'll listen to reason, you dig? Get bent! He calls out his Pokemon, which are an Alolan Muck, Wigglytuff, and Zorua. His tactics include a lot of Sucker Punches, Deception, and naturally Poison Stalling with Toxic. It's meant to teach you about how many different styles of battling there are, and when you overcome the torrent of his Sludgemon and knock them down a peg, he becomes angry. It's right at this moment that Ulani returns with none other than the dapper Professor Kukui and a couple Team Buddy members. What the hell? They got this guy too? Don't you ankle batters see anything wrong with your professor? He ain't normally like this.
Whatever. Like we listen to what's normal from the dude wearing clothes 70 years out of date.
Oh, little Ulani. That was a good insult, but we should be nice to people. Even bad guys like Mr. Buddy here.
But he... man! Surely someone out there can see how crazy this all is.
Now, sport. Why don't you come with me and I'll help you get acquainted with Team Buddy, We'd love to have a rambunctious youth like you with us.
Are you serious right now, Prof? I made Team Buddy, so I know what you guys are all about. Before I escape, take this message and send it to your leader. Tell them I'm coming for Cherry, and then I'm taking him down no matter what. Get bent, Pops. He sneers at the three of you and then quickly jumps into a bush to run away. Kukui gives a lighthearted chuckle and thanks you and Ulani for your help in disposing of the Pompadour menace. He says he's going to go track Buddy down, and while he's doing that, he'd love for the two of you to meet his lovely wife, Professor Burnett, who just so happens to work in the Dimensional Research Building. Kukui says goodbye and sashays away as he calls to a plethora of nearby Team Buddy members to join his greaser hunting team. You decide to take Kukui's advice and visit Professor Burnett. Ulani and her Pokemon have had a long day of training, so they pass on the invitation, opting to go to the Pokemon Center instead. You enter the building alone and go up to Burnett's lab. Once inside the main laboratory, you spot a woman dressed in very swell attire.
Oh my gosh, I am so overdressed for this. Sorry, give me a minute. Sorry about that. I just got back from an important meeting with the Aether Foundation, and this was the best I could manage. Dressing that stuffy isn't really my thing. Anyways, I'm Professor Burnett, the leading authority on ultra wormholes and dimensional research in Alola. And you are?
You tell the professor your name, and it's almost like she received a jolt of energy.
Oh, you're the player! The player! My husband Kukui has told me so much about you. I guess I owe you a small tour of my operation here, eh? Follow me and let's get to it.
Burnett walks around her lab to various stations.
Alola is famous for its ultra wormholes. These are a phenomenon that occur where a portal between dimensions is created. All sorts of things lie in the worlds beyond, be they powerful monsters called ultra beasts, or even other forms of sentient life. And last year, we had a bit of trouble with some of the UBs running rampant.
Now seems like a pretty good time to tell Burnett about what you saw at 10 Carat Hill, and so you go into detail about the Ultra Wormhole and the person who fell out of it.
Oh, wow! It's so exciting that you got to meet a faller! That's what we call people who fall between dimensions. And you say she didn't have any signs of memory loss or trauma? Most people who warp between worlds without the proper safety equipment can't quite process the energy and usually have signs of amnesia. I wonder if perhaps this person is special. Or if maybe these ultra wormholes are different than normal. I wonder if the Ultra Recon Squad has contacted me yet.
Burnett pulls out a high-tech communication device. She clicks through some screens and gives a soft sigh of disappointment. She turns to look at you and scratches her head sheepishly.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. It's just, last year we made great progress in our research and actually met some people from another world. They're called the Ultra Recon Squad, and they go around the different worlds helping people. We've been in contact the past year, but for some reason, they haven't been returning my messages. Normally, I wouldn't think anything of this, because, you know, interdimensional communication can be a little spotty. But with all the recent events, it's all very curious.
She pulls out a video tablet that displays some data she's collected over the past few days.
Recently, Alola has been seeing strange energy readings. This chart is how the Ultra Space energy spikes usually are. They generally happen when an Ultra Beast randomly crashes into our world. This chart, on the other hand, is how the Ultra Space energy spikes have been recently. They form much more of a pattern and have a slightly different energy signature to them. It almost makes me wonder if they're somehow being controlled. This strange occurrence, plus you seeing a faller, plus the squad not contacting me for months now is interesting. I wonder what this could all mean.
Burnett stands there thinking to herself and snaps back to reality.
Sorry, I got carried away with my research. It looks like your mind has wandered away into ultra space while I was talking. Do you have any questions for me? My husband, Kukui, suggested I go over there and share my findings about ultra space and the multiverse with their president. Even though he's been acting goofy recently, it seemed like a decent idea, so I met with President Lucamine and the Aether Foundation's new partner company. What was it? Team Booty? Team Friendo? Regardless, they seemed especially interested in my research, and I shared with them some early tech I've been working on related to dimensional stability. It's kind of nice to have my work vindicated after so long. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm always happy to talk about my research with people, so if you're ever bored, stop by, alright? Or if you need anything, a friend of Kukui's is a friend of mine.
You thank Burnett for her hospitality and leave the Dimensional Research Building. Unfortunately, the roads leading north from Hiahia are still blocked by mysterious trucks, so you continue traveling to the right until a large barricade blocks you from going any further. The barricade sits right at the start of the Hano Grand Resort's bridge, and it's been shoddily constructed with broken surfboards, beach balls, pool chairs, some Poké dolls, and other pieces of junk you wouldn't expect when thinking of a fearsome barricade. Behind the barricade, you see a few members of Team Reskull jeering at you.
Yo, yo! Looks like the barricade is a huge success! Nobody can make it in or out, especially not those nice zombies that have been chasing us.
You said it, dog. As long as nobody finds the secret path at Diglett's tunnel, we'll be safe. We can build a new Team Reskull society at the hotel, yo. I hear they have room service and everything.
Hey, shut up, man! What if that kid down there hears you talking about the secret passage?
Oh, come on, they didn't hear anything. You gotta relax, yo. Hey, touristy dude! You didn't hear us talking about any kind of secret pass, right?
You shake your head no, and the grunts are relieved.
See, what did I tell ya? We're as safe as a Corsola in Marini Town.
Yeah, I guess.
You leave the grunts to the comfort of their barricade, and you backtrack into Diglett's tunnel to search for the secret path. You soon find a freshly dug mini-tunnel that's been heavily graffitied. When you follow it, you discover the path is taking you to a secret exit at the Hano Grand Resort's private beach. The path forward is wide open and waiting for you, but if you want to, you can sneak up behind the Reskull Grunt's barricade and surprise them. When you do, they're so shocked that someone made it past their impenetrable wall they can barely speak.
Oh no! Nice zombies! Quick, we gotta tell Plumeria they found a way through!
The Team Reskull Grunts frantically escape their barrier, and as they're running away, the barricade slowly falls apart into pieces. You now have easy access back to Hia City, and what more, if you rummage around the wreckage of the barricade, you'll find a yellow bandana that has a dizzying aroma around it. It's definitely not part of the traditional Team Skull getup, so you decide to hang on to it. It could help out later in the story. Alright, continuing onwards with your journey, you enter the Hano Grand Resort, and when you do, you meet a woman by the name of Kahili. Not only is she a pro golfer, but she's actually the new kahuna of the island. She doesn't really want to talk about what happened to the old kahuna, and says that once you've completed all your trials on Akala, come back here and she'll be happy to battle you in a grand trial. You say you'll return soon and leave the Hano Resort via a new route that's directly connected to it. This path is a combination of the resort's golf course, which features Team Buddy members and their Pokemon helping others master their golfing techniques, and a small mountainous ridge. When you've traversed this route, you'll arrive at the right-hand side of the Royal Avenue, directly in front of the Thrifty Megamart. If you try to go up towards Route 7, you'll be blocked by the Royal Avenue's Pokemon Fan Club chairman, who is bragging about the unique-looking Frostlass he captured, so you'll instead have to explore more of the Royal Avenue Plaza. You can go into the supermarket and buy some items, hang out in the Malasada shop, and even talk to some people hanging out by the fountain, who say that ever since the Aether Foundation's partnership with Team Buddy, they and their Pokemon have been a lot happier. As you're soaking in the sights of the area, you suddenly hear somebody crying out for help up by the Battle Royal Dome. You rush over quickly and see Lily running into the avenue with a plethora of Team Buddy members sauntering after her.
Help! Help, somebody, please!
Lily spots you standing there and runs up, exhausted.
Please, player! They've done something to Mother!
Now, Lilith. We simply want to talk to you, dearie. We're worried your brother might have been giving you mean thoughts towards us, and we wanted to dispel some of those rumors.
The grunts take a step towards Lily. She gives a fearful squeak and sinks behind you.
Please, player, you have to believe me. They're not as nice as they seem. They took my Pokemon, and what they've done to Mother is just...
You step forward confidently to save Lily from the Team Buddy members. If anyone has the nerve to make Lily scared, they've gotta be the bad guys, right?
Oh my, this is certainly a turn of events. You're such a gallant hero for protecting Lilith from us. We certainly hope you do well in our battle, so let's all do our best.
You're flung into a battle against the Team Buddy Grunts, and on their teams they use a variety of fairy and psychic-type Pokemon. The low-level Grunts, like what you're about to battle, use Pokemon like Cutiefly, Flabebe, Spritzy, Comfey, Muna, and Pa-Oo style Oricorio, and many of the higher-level ones you'll battle later use tougher Pokemon like Alola Ninetales, Shiinotic, Kadabra, and Musharna. A lot of the Grunts also have unique variants of classic Pokemon that seem to be more swell than you might remember, but we'll talk about those specifically later. For now, you go up against the Team Buddy Grunts and their barrage of fairies. They swarm around, launching tons of dazzling gleam attacks your way, but you reflect them right back at your dapper foes. The Grunts take an L and are left in a happy daze.
Oh, golly gosh! You're really swell at battling, trainer. Here, we'll heal your Pokemon for you. We did just call in some more reinforcements, and you and your Pokemon should be in tip-top shape when you battle them.
The Team Buddy Grunts, true to their word, heal your Pokemon, and that's when a few more Grunts arrive. They surround you and Lily, and though they're all nice and respectful, commending you for protecting her, it looks like there's just too many of them to battle alone.
Oh no, there's too many of them!
Well, you two could give up. That would certainly make this a lot easier for us.
Hey! Get away from them, you overly friendly losers!
An energy blast shoots through the crowd of Team Buddy Grunts. Gladion arrives on the scene riding his Silvally. The Team Buddy grunts sincerely applaud the heroically edgy teenager's entrance, and he and his Pokemon stand protectively in front of Lily.
Gladion, you managed to escape too? I was so worried that Mother had...
It's fine, Lily. I'm here now, and we're going to fix this. Nothing's going to break our family apart again.
Gladion's serious glare shifts from the massive smiling Team Buddy faces to you.
I see the eavesdropper has been helping you out. Thank you, trainer. There's so much happening in Alola lately. After we deal with these smiling losers, I'll fill you in. Until then, let's crush them!
Gladion gets into a battle stance and you join him. The two of you have a couple double battles together where he uses his Silvally, and once you've struck down the obnoxiously happy grunts, things get eerily quiet. The clicking of high heels is heard in tandem with ethereal giggling, and the strange woman you saw on Melee Melee Island appears. Gladion takes a step back in horror.
No way! They got you too?
The woman smiles vacantly and tilts her head.
Got me? Whatever are you talking about, sweetie? Oh gosh, you aren't coming down with a cold, are you? Your mother would not like that.
Don't talk about my mom! I don't know what all of you did to her, but I'm going to make you fix it!
Oh, darling, your mother is so happy now. When she came to talk to the boss and I after you put so many doubts in her pretty little head, we cleared those up in a jiffy. She sees how great Team Buddy is now, and she wants you and Lilith to be such a swell, happy family together.
Lily and Gladion wince. Gladion's glare gets sharper as he surveys the situation.
This trainer, she's way too strong. There's no way I'm going to get us all out of here. Maybe if I call out my other Pokemon, we can distract her long enough? But all the other grunts are here too. Gotta find a way!
Hey, did I miss the rumble already? A voice echoes out behind everyone, and all of you turn to see your favorite greaser walking confidently up to the skirmish. Lily and Gladion's expressions turn to confusion, and Cynthia's static smile is unfaltering as Buddy now stands before her. So you have a new admin at Team Buddy, huh? I've seen better. I'm gonna make this real quick and say you better let Cherry go and stop tormenting Lola, or I'm gonna lose my cool and make you DDT, mama! Cynthia is unfazed by the threat, or at least I think it's a threat, and she approaches him with a coy smile. Her strange perfume-like mist emanates from her, and it's slowly creeping into the area. Buddy's about to lob more 1950s insults at her, but Gladion butts in before he can.
Hey, doofus with the stupid hair. Do you know who that is?
Hey, what is with the Lola and all the mean kids in it, huh? You ain't like that, are you, kid?
Just... that lady in front of you is the Sinnoh champion, Cynthia. If you think you can take her on alone, you might want to rethink your strategy.
He glances over at Cynthia to study her, then turns back to Gladion. I don't really see it, kid. Now, I don't know much about Pokemon champs or nothing, but doesn't that Sin chick usually have a Garchomp? All I'm seeing is... He turns back to Cynthia and sees a... Well, it looks similar to a Garchomp, but seems a lot more pink than normal. Ah, what the hell?
Garchomp, darling. I'm feeling so dreadfully tired, and Miss Lusamine must certainly be growing impatient. Why don't we finish this quickly, and we can go get some supper?
Garoo! Garchomp menacingly stomps towards the group, and though the odds are stacked against you, Buddy still calls out his Pokemon to try and protect everyone. Hey, if you want to play fast and dirty, baby, then let's go, huh? Me and my sludge are ready to rumble. Gladion lets out a frustrated groan at his bravado, but before he takes any action, he turns to you and to Lily.
Listen, Lily, player. I'm going to do something really stupid in a second. And when that happens, you both need to get out of here, all right?
What are you gonna do?
We'll try to hold her off as long as I can. But you need to promise me that you'll escape, okay?
Brother, please! I don't want to leave you behind!
Trust me, Lily. I'll be fine. Me and Elvis here will handle this. Player, get her somewhere safe, all right?
You give Gladion your reassurance, and he gives a half smile. He hops aboard his Silvally, and the two of them step up to the front line next to Buddy. He gives a toothy grin to Cynthia as your group now outnumbers her, and Gladion shakes his head, embarrassed. Yeah! Let's do this, edgy ankle biter! Is this your first time battling an evil team?
No way, old man. I've been doing this a lot.
Alright then. First one to make Sin Mama kick rubber gets a liquid Q-pop at the runner after this.
I don't even know what you're saying. But there's no turning back now. Lily, player, run!
Gladion and Sylvali launch into Cynthia's Garchomp, and as that's happening, Buddy and Wigglytuff keep the crowd of Team Buddy grunts contained so you can retreat.
Hey, it's now or never, you two. Get out of here while you can, and we'll keep them at bay.
You turn to leave, but Lily is petrified at everything that's happening. She reaches out for her brother and calls to him, and amidst the battle, he yells to the two of you to go. Tears well up in her eyes, but the two of you eventually pull yourselves together and flee the area. You run out of the Royal Avenue, just in the nick of time, I should say, because even more Team Buddy grunts show up, and you go through the northern-bound cave to Route 7. Once you've entered the route, the two of you stop to catch your breath, and it seems like you're in the clear as no Team Buddy grunts have followed you. While you can't say for sure, you're assuming the battle is still happening, as you can hear a lot of explosions and someone telling someone else to get bent.
I think we're safe, player. Thank you for helping me back there. I hope they're going to be all right.
The Greaser and Wigglytuff crash out of the sky, and after a friendly tree helps break their fall, they land in a heap nearby. He warily returns Wigglytuff to its Pokeball, and when you and Lily rush over to him, it's clear he's bent out of shape pretty bad. His clothes are torn, bruises are everywhere, and there's some faint traces of burns.
Friendly trainers my ass. These mad Team Buddy didn't physically harm anybody.
Oh no! Are you okay, mister? Did Cynthia do this to you?
Buddy. Just call me Buddy. And yeah, we tried to distract her as long as we could, but Garchomp's got a hell of a dragon punch, huh? Thankfully, Wigglytuff could slow my descent, but your brother...
He takes a moment to compose himself before Lily asks a very difficult question.
What happened to Gladion?
A frigid wind blows through the air.
I'm sorry, kid. I tried as hard as I could, but Cynthia was just too strong.
No, this can't be happening.
Lily is having a panic attack, and Buddy works through his body's pain to talk to her.
Hey, it's gonna be alright, little Lil. Trust me, I know how scary this can be, but we gotta keep our domes calm, cause if we don't, that's when Team Buddy can sneak in, huh? I'm so sorry about your brother and your mama. This is all my fault. But I promise, I'm gonna do everything I can to get him back for you. The only way I'm gonna stop trying to help is if Alola goes back to normal, or I die.
Through the power of a Greaser pep talk and you giving Lily your support, she started to calm down. She's still kind of freaked out by all her family being in danger, but she's tapping into her Z-Lily power and is trying to be strong.
Hey, there we go, baby! I know it's a lot to ask of you two, but I have a secret motel hideout up the road a little bit. If you guys want to meet me there as soon as you can, we gotta talk about what to do next, huh? I'm gonna hit up the Pokemon Center really quick, heal my Pokemon, maybe get a Band-Aid or two for my third-degree burns, and I'll see you there, Splitsville, okay?
Buddy gives finger guns to the two of you before clutching his arm in pain and hobbling out of the scene. Lily is still frazzled, but says that the Greaser guy is the best chance at saving her family now. She bravely treks on through the route to go to his meeting. At this point, you get to freely explore Route 7, and you encounter wild Pokemon snoozing in the shade of bushes, and you battle trainers who have a preference for water-type Pokemon and love spamming waves of torrents. Something cool about this route is that it's been greatly expanded from its appearance in Ultra. There's now a large piece of land connected to the trail, which was formed when an underwater lava vent for Mount Wella opened up and the lava built up over the past year. A giant stone spire stands in the middle of the island, and an obstacle course has been built around it. It's a popular tourist destination, but more so than that, it's actually the location of a brand new trial. I'm gonna skim over this, but the trial on this newly formed island is a timed obstacle course where you have to use your ride Pokemon to break rocks blocking your path, dash up steep ramps, and swing over drops, all while battling other trainers on the course. When you eventually make it to the top of the stone pillar, a gigantic totem Salazzle will slam down, almost causing you to fall. You regain your footing and get ready for an unsteady showdown on the Spire battlefield. You and your Pokemon dance around the ring in a flurry of dodges and slowly chip down the totem's health. The creature is soon depleted of all its energy, and it jumps off the pillar in disgrace. You've officially completed the trial now and receive a Firanium C from a rather eccentric gym coach type character. With a new Z crystal in your possession, you carry on through the rest of Route 7 until you see the motel the greaser mentioned earlier. Lily is waiting for you awkwardly in front of the door to Buddy's room. You jog up to her and you both enter together. Inside, you find the entire place has been renovated. It's got a very 1950s diner vibe to it, complete with checkerboard floors, a jukebox, and classic-style chairs and tables. Buddy is in the middle of the room, organizing a pile of notes he's taken, while Wigglytuff is hanging out by the jukebox, eating a rare candy, and Alola Muck is watching the motel's TV. He jumps up surprised at the door opening, getting ready to tussle, but is relieved when it's just you and Lily.
Hey, you guys made it! Welcome to my home away from home. I wanted it to remind me of my friends back in Unova, so I did a bit of remodeling. I asked front counter if it'd be alright, but they were buddy eyes, so they were obviously okay with it.
You and Lily turn to each other, wondering what on earth that word means, and he recoils.
Aw, man! So you guys really don't know the full story of what's happening, do ya? Alright, pull up a chair, ankle biters, and I'll give you the scoop.
You and Lily tentatively gather around the table. Alola Muck brings you guys some popcorn because, believe me, this is gonna be very in-depth.
Alright, I guess I should mention that a year ago, I was kind of a bad guy. I was the one who originally made Team Buddy, but we were kicking it over in Unova. Now, I didn't have my grunts beat up people like how Cynthia kicked my ass earlier.
At the sound of a swear word, Lily gets a little uncomfortable, and Buddy's face blushes red.
Oh, sorry, Lily. Kicked my butt earlier, but we were actually dedicated to the idea of bringing Unova together in friendship. I sort of went about it the wrong way, forcing people to be happy and such, but when you get beaten down so much by the world, you sometimes make really dumb decisions, huh? Thankfully, my slodges were there to knock some sense back into me before anything truly bad happened. Anyways, I disbanded Team Buddy at the time, and me and the crew have been spending the past year trying to help everyone recover from the mess I made. It's been a lot of hard work, and we still get crap thrown at us from time to time, but our friendship is tighter than ever. So, that's the 45 of my life, I guess. I don't know.
You and Lily nod in understanding. Wigglytuff waddles over to get more popcorn when she notices something in your bag. Before you can do anything, she's grabbed the mysterious bandana you found and lets out concerned noises as it brings it over to her trainer.
What is it, Wiggly?
She hands Buddy the bandana and he tentatively holds it in his hands. He stands up somewhat aggressively and asks where you got this. You tell him about the barricade, and that's enough to make him slump back into his seat.
Oh, man, this ain't good. This ain't good at all.
What's happening? What does that bandana mean?
It's one of my friend's bandanas, and it's covered in lucid mist.
You and Lily are still confused by that word, and he solemnly sighs.
Back when I was evil, I made a substance with my crew and a local egghead called lucid mist. It's what we use to force people and Pokemon into being our nice, happy friends, and it's most likely what's being used on the people of Alola. I know you don't want to talk about it, Lily, but I'm assuming your mama started dressing like a granny and did something stupid nice for you, yeah?
She made the entire Aether Foundation breakfast. Like, pancakes for 500 people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's a truly evil substance we created that can manipulate people into the most content and happy states of their lives. It's what happened to that Cynthia chick who kicked my butt earlier, it's what happened to that professor guy, and it's no doubt what happened to Lily's mama.
You and Lily are having a hard time processing this, the idea that all the people you know and care for can be turned into dandy-dressed citizens at the drop of a hat, and Lily especially is starting to panic.
But if your friend's bandana is covered in lucid mist, then...
He clutches the bandana even harder as his hands ball up into fists of rage.
When we got wind of Team Buddy being reformed, she snuck out here to investigate on her own before any of us could stop her. As soon as I realized Cherry was gone, I hightailed it over here, and now, it seems like I might be too late.
Buddy is upset at the thought of Team Buddy having taken Cherry, and as Alola Muck and Wigglytuff are especially sad over the loss too. You're unsure of how to console him, but Lily gets out of her chair to try her best.
Hey, you don't need to be sad or anything, buddy. You said it yourself that we can fix this buddying thing, right? So we just gotta do our best and work together. I'm sure Gladion is fine, and we can save Mother, and Alola will be okay. Z Lily Power, activate!
Lily does a cute, although kind of embarrassing pose as she tries to appear tough for his sake, and he looks at both of you curiously for a moment before his trademark smirk comes back to his face. Aw, man, getting a pep talk from ankle biters. Can't wait for the rest of my crew to hear about this, huh? You guys are right. We can't be sad sacks hanging out in my rockin' motel room forever. I've gotta fix all my mistakes, and we gotta save Alola. Here, I'm making the two of you honorary members of the Verbanks Lodges. You're part of my crew now, and we ain't gonna stop until everybody is safe. Especially your mama and your brother, Lily. At the mention of her family, Lily's eyes alight with hope. The greaser grins as he hands each of you a cool-looking pin to commemorate your honorary slodge status. First thing we gotta do if we want to save everyone is investigate the nearby lush jungle. Tons of Team Buddy grunts are going in and out of there, and a weird haze, most likely lucid mist, is emanating from the area. When you check it out, you're gonna want to take this. It's a rad Pokemon I brought from back home. You can use it to blow away the fog so you don't get buddy eyes. Just don't take him near water. He really doesn't like water. He tosses you a Pokeball which contains a Ride Braviary and gives you a thumbs up. Try and find what's causing all the lucid mist in the area and see if you can stop it. I'm sure Team Buddy's new boss ain't holed up there, but stopping the lucid mist production will definitely slow down their delightfully evil efforts.
What should I do, buddy? I want to help too.
Hey, I got you, baby. We're gonna need to cook up an antidote to buddyizing. Usually people snap out of it with a good shock, be that the shock of losing a battle or the shock of being smacked upside the head. But in the cases where you can't knock sense into someone, my crew and I made a special cure. We honestly have most of what we need already. He points at his Alolan Muck, who is excited. But we're still gonna have to find some special flowers and break into a store. Hey, are you sure you're ready for this, little Lil? Lily is uneasy about all of this, but shakes her head yes.
Right!
Hey, then let's rumble. Verbanks Lodges, let's rock and roll. Lily and Buddy charge out of the room to go find the supplies needed to make the anti-swell remedy. You leave the room to go on your own mission too. You head to the nearby lush jungle, which as described is emanating a thick pink haze, and you call out the Braviary he lent you and climb aboard. At this point, you get to traverse the lucid fog-ridden lush jungle on the Braviary. Its special ability as a ride Pokemon is that it can launch a gust attack, which in the jungle will clear away some of the fog momentarily so you can move through it. As you're working your way through the area, you'll be attacked by Team Buddy grunts hiding in the fog. They try to grab you and pull you into their content and obedient haze, and you and your Pokemon will have to stay on your toes to make sure you don't succumb to the dastardly dandiness. Now you might be wondering how on earth this amount of lucid mist is being produced, and you'll soon get your answer as you hear some ghostly singing coming from deeper within the jungle. You follow the sound, fighting more Team Buddy grunts amidst the misty terrain along the way, and you soon make it to the center of the jungle. Some old school machinery has been set up in the clearing, and you see a gigantic Musharna that's hooked up to them. The Musharna is spewing a heavy cloud of what you assume to be lucid mist into the air, and right next to it is a pair of dapperly dressed people tending to the oversized Pokemon. One of them is singing a lullaby, and the other is washing it clean with a dandy cloth. Though the two of them appear to be happy tending to the Musharna, albeit they're probably buddy-ized, you're gonna need to stop all the lucid mist dominating the jungle, so you step forward and prepare to throw down. The two people turn to greet you with unflinching smiles, and they lightly banter between themselves.
Oh, looks like we have some company, my little marshmallow. I think they might be here to stop our darling Musharna from creating lucid mist.
Oh, golly, that just won't do, Cutie Wee. It would be so sad if we couldn't give our lovely friends enough lucid mist to meet their buddy-izing needs. Should we try to stop them?
I think so, darling. After you.
You're so nice, Mr. Kiwi.
The two buddy-ized people, Malo and Kiowe, former trial captains of Alola, step up to have a double battle with you. On their teams, Malo uses a Steenie and Shiinotic, while Kiowe has a Growlithe and Alolan Marowak. The lucid mist terrain you're in not only lowers your Pokemon's accuracy, but helps Malo and Kiowe's Pokemon execute many sneak attacks. Your Pokemon take quite the beating, but if you amp up your strategy and focus, you'll be able to get a few good hits in. You soon defeat the two happy people, and they're thrilled to have had such an exquisite Pokemon battle. They apologize profusely because they'd love to be true buddies and stop the lucid mist production, but their boss told them not to, so even though you defeated them, their hands are still tied. They suggest you try battling the Musharna, and maybe that could scare it away and cause it to stop spewing the dandy mist. You thank the two of them for their advice, although they are still buddy-ized, so it is kinda weird that they're assisting their enemy, and you engage the Musharna in a battle. This is a pseudo-totem battle, and Musharna's had its special attack raised, can call Muna to its aid, and is in the Lucid Mist terrain, so your Pokemon's accuracy is lowered. You and your Pokemon charge up an attack and launch it at the Musharna. That was enough to make it feel the hurt, and it lets out a deep rumbling sound. Boo. It stops emitting the Lucid Mist and breaks free from the machine. It floats off into the depths of the jungle, and the Lucid Mist emitter slowly sputters to an end. With the mist dispelled, Lily and Greaser Buddy run into the area. They're carrying a handful of different materials they've gathered while you dealt with the fog problem, and they set them down into a pile. Hey, nice work, kid! Lily and I got the materials to make the antidote. Now all we need is a way to mix everything together. Luckily, you have just the right equipment to do that, and you pull out your Malasada kit.
Oh, that's a great idea, player. Here, help me get all the materials ready, buddy.
The screen fades to black momentarily. When it comes back in, you're in the Malasada creation minigame. Your goal right now is to make a specific Buddyizing Cure Malasada, and you have to carefully follow Lily and Buddy's instructions on using the right ingredients. A dash of baking powder, some extract of red nectar, a few ground up plants from Brooklet Hill, a cup of Alolan muck sludge, and presto! You've created a brand new breed of Malasada. They smell absolutely terrible. Lily covers her nose and your eyes water from the unpleasant odor, but thankfully, you're not the one who has to eat them. You give Malo and Kiyue each half of the Malasada, and they graciously thank you. Even though they're buddyized, you can tell they notice the unpleasant smell, but their need to be friendly and nice overpowers any kind of hesitation. They bite into the Malasadas and immediately spit them out.
Ugh, what the? That tastes so gross. Wait. Where am I? Why am I dressed like this?
That was nasty. Ugh, what the heck, you guys?
Lily is overcome with joy at seeing people regain their sanity. She excitedly looks over to Buddy.
No way! It actually worked! They went right back to normal!
What'll I tell you, little Lil? Nothing to worry about. The Malasadas are an interesting idea, but definitely effective. I'll hold on to the excess antidote you didn't cook up just in case we need it later, player.
He takes the goopy rainbow gunk and scoops it into a small spray bottle that he tucks into his jacket for safekeeping. Lily jumps on him with a surprise hug, which causes quite the startle.
What the hell? What's all this, Lily?
Lily recovers her composure and detaches from Buddy, slightly blushing.
I'm sorry. We can do this now. It doesn't feel as impossible as before. Thank you.
Hey, don't thank me yet, little Lil. We still got a lot more to do before Alola's back to normal, but honestly, you're welcome, doll. Anytime, huh?
Greaser Buddy turns back to you and says you've done great work today. It's a small victory, but it's definitely going to help take down the new Team Buddy in the long run. He's going to return to the motel and work out what to do next, and in the meantime, you can get back to your Alola adventure until he figures out a plan. He gives you a friendly smirk and strolls out of the area. Lily says that there's a trial you can do nearby at Brooklet Hill, and she's going to go catch up with Buddy and help work out what to do next. She skips out of the jungle with a pep in her step, and it's nice to see her so upbeat after all the stress she's endured. You can hang around the fog-free lush jungle and capture Muna that have just appeared, but that will have to wait as you realize that your Pokemon aren't looking too hot. You rush to the nearest Pokemon Center to aid your friend, and the nurse says that a lot of trainers are having similar issues with their Pokemon becoming ill when outside for too long. Nobody's quite sure what's happening, and the afflicted Pokemon take on a pink glow as their friendship stat increases while their other stats decrease. Thankfully, a nice rest at the Pokemon Center returns your Pokemon back to normal, but from this point on, through the end of the main story, you're going to have to be more careful when going outside so your Pokemon don't get this friendship sickness problem. With your Pokemon now cured, you travel a small ways to Brooklet Hill for your next trial. It's here you meet Lana, the trial captain, and interestingly enough, she's been so engrossed in setting up her brand new challenge that she hasn't even heard of Team Buddy. That's probably for the best, as she's been spared a horrifyingly vintage fate, and when you talk to her, she wants to get started with her trial right away. As soon as you accept Lana's invitation, the screen fades to white. When it fades back in, you and Lana are out on the open ocean. You're riding a small wakeboard while Lana is on top of a large water-type Pokemon that is pulling you across the waves at a high speed. Now, Lana's new trial is a combination of Mantine surfing and a really old minigame from Mario Party. You traverse a small course set up in the water, and you have to go through a certain amount of rings while dodging obstacles and wild Pokemon. If you hit an obstacle, then you'll lose speed momentarily, which means you might not have enough velocity to go off of jumps, and if you hit wild Pokemon, you have to battle them, because this is technically still a trial after all. Once you've gone through 20 rings in this high-octane wakeboard trial, the Pokemon Lana's riding will slow to a stop. Bubbles form around it, and it erupts from the water, landing in front of you. A gigantic Golisopod is staring at you menacingly, and in case it's not obvious, this is the totem Pokemon you're going to have to battle. It's able to call back up Dewpider when in combat against you, and the ocean turns treacherous as your Pokemon try to attack it and not get swept away. Electricity is key to this trial, and many strikes later you prevail against the totem Golisopod. When it's been defeated, Lana gives you a thumbs up and you're warped back to the entrance of Brooklet Hill. She congratulates you on completing your trial and gives you a Waternium Z. She also wants to give you a personal gift for being the first person to try her new trial and gives you a Dugong as a ride Pokemon. She mentions this ride Pokemon can help you traverse water, and it also has the ability to climb waterfalls, making it quite a handy Pokemon to keep around. With Lana's trial now complete, you've done the 3 main trials on this island and are ready to take on the Grand Trial. You go back to the Hano Grand Resort and challenge Kahili to a battle. She says she won't go easy on you, and with that, the Grand Trial of Akala Island commences. Kahuna Kahili uses a Braviary, Hawlucha, and Toucanon when battling you. It's a tough trial as her bird Pokemon have tremendous speed and strike your Pokemon before you even realize what's happening, but your bonds are strong and you and your companions are able to pull through. You defeat Kahili, completing your second grand trial. She gives you a Flynium Z as proof of your victory. She applauds you and your Pokemon for coming this far and says your next trial destinations are on Ula Ula Island. You thank Kahili for the info and leave the Hano Grand Resort. As you're walking out of the building, you find Lily and Buddy hanging out by the door. Buddy is rocking the heck out of that cool wall lean, and Lily is trying her best to look cool too. Great work being that golfer lady, Ankle Butter. Back in my old stomping ground, I knew a trainer like you. I have a feeling both of you would hit it off pretty well, huh? Alright, enough small talk. So Little Lil and I were talking, and we think it's possible that Team Buddy might be holed up in that floating island place. What's it called again, Lily?
The Aether Foundation.
Hey, that's the one. Lily was telling me about all the high-tech equipment there, and if I was still a villain, I would definitely set up shop on an island like that. You said there was a lot of people though, right, Lil? If we went in unprepared, they'd be...
Hey.
The 3 of you whip around at the sound of someone familiar and see Gladion standing behind you. Lily is shocked and runs over to give him a hug.
Brother!
Hey, nice to see you, kid. How the heck did you get away from Cynthia, huh?
When she wasn't looking, I was able to escape her beware hug. I knew I had to come warn you and Lilith about the swell Team Buddy.
Everyone's blood turns cold as Gladion uses some choice words. Lily backs away from him, shaking in fear.
No. Tell me they didn't get to you too, Gladion.
Gladion's face contorts into an out-of-place smile and his emotionless eyes lock dead on Lily.
Mother is very worried about you, Lilith. She wants us all to be so very happy now. I feel so silly for not seeing how nice Team Buddy's friendship is.
Gladion takes a step towards her, but you and Buddy cut him off. Hey, keep your mitts off her, Belle! Blair, why don't you show him how the Slodges take care of our own? Maybe we can snap him out of this the old-fashioned way.
I just wanted to bring you home peacefully, Lilith. I didn't even bring any dandy grunts with me either. I hate to get barbaric, but maybe if I beat these hooligans you're hanging out with, you'll listen to my swell reasoning.
There's no talking to the Edgelord turned Swell Lord, so you have no choice but to battle Buddy Eyes Gladion. On his team, he uses his Silvally, whose level has been lowered to match where you're at in the story, and has been equipped with the Fairy-type Memory Drive. He also uses a Crobat and Lucario. His battling strategy has gone from wild and edgy to tactical and subdued, and though he looks like he would be weaker, his strength is still very much there. As soon as you've conquered his final Pokemon, you see a twinge of the old Gladion break through as he looks like he's about to say something hot-headed, but it's quickly stamped out by a polite smile.
Golly, you sure made some strong friends, sister. I'll make sure to let Mother know you're doing okay. It was lovely to see all of you. And if you change your mind, Lilith, we'll be waiting for you at home with open arms.
Gladion gives a polite bow and casually walks away before Buddy can pull out the antidote that was made earlier. There's a tense silence in the air, and Lily collapses to her knees with tears streaming down her cheeks.
It's all my fault. It's all my fault. If I had believed Gladion before, Mother might not have. And now they're both.
The gravity of the situation finally hits Lily, and the weight of it crushes her spirit. You and Buddy look at each other, unsure what to do. When it seems like Lily is finally calming down, both of you crouch next to her empathetically.
Hey, Lily, it's alright. We got an antidote, so not all is lost, huh? To be honest, I'm absolutely terrified too, but you gotta know you ain't alone, baby. You got me and the player by your side, and we ain't gonna let you down, huh?
He smiles at Lily reassuringly. She collapses even further as distress takes hold of her even more. Many tears are shed as you both try to comfort her, and when her sobbing has slowed, you gently sit her up.
Here, I want you to take my Wigglytuff until we get things back to normal. She's a bit tough, but she's a really good friend and will help protect you. Neither she, nor I, nor even the player will let anything happen to you, okay, Lily?
He hands Lily his Wigglytuff's Pokeball, and amidst her tears, she gives a timid nod. She stops crying, and as she wipes her tears away, lets out a small, thankful smile. Buddy gives a friendly smirk back before getting somewhat serious again.
So, not to bring things down again, but do you possibly have a way we can sneak into the Foundation, Lily? Your bro's definitely gonna make sure they're expecting us, so we gotta find a way in that doesn't involve making a big scene and getting caught and turned into mindless dandies. Any secret passages or something?
I'm not sure. I'm sure there are some, but Mother has kept them all a secret. I doubt anybody knows where they are.
A pink and yellow-haired woman whose scowl could freeze even the most passionate of hearts enters the scene and glares down at you. Behind her, a couple of Team Reskull grunts have swagged into frame to back her up. They try to look menacing, but, you know.
Oh, what the hell? Can't we get a little bit of privacy here? Lily's been through enough, so whoever you are, just beat it.
I'm just gonna be blunt. I'm Plumeria. I'm part of a group known as Team Reskull. We were bad guys last year, then we got nice, but now we're back to being mean. But only to bring our family together. Team Buddy took our boss and turned him into a nice zombie, and he's the only one who would know how to sneak into the Foundation, help us rescue our boss, and he can help you get into Aether and save Alola from being brainwashed.
Listen, baby, I'm digging your style, and what you're saying sounds rad, but how do we know we can trust you?
Coming from the guy who was also a villain, we never did anything as bad as you, Mr. Friendship.
How do you know about that?
It doesn't matter. Trust us or not, Guzma's the only way you'll be able to sneak into the Foundation. If you're game to assist, meet us at the old abandoned supermarket on Ula Ula. Or not, whatever. We'll find a way to save him without you if we need to.
Plumeria whips around and struts away from the resort, with her Reskull grunts trying to keep up. All of you are pondering her offer.
I know it's risky, Slodges, but I think we should trust her. She's a little bit of a spitfire like Cherry, so maybe that's swaying my opinion, but right now this is our only lead to infiltrating the Aether Foundation and taking down Team Buddy. What do you guys think?
Back when her team was called Team Skull, they were working with my mother at the Foundation, so Guzman knowing how to get in definitely makes sense.
Alright, then it's settled. We'll all meet up on Ula Ula Island at the abandoned supermarket. Player, you can Mantine surf over there, it'll be smoking fast. I'll escort Lily on the ferry to make sure she's alright and no more swell surprises try to attack her.
Thank you.
Lily gives a light thank you to Buddy as she's still rattled. Our team splits apart to go to Ula Ula Island. Now, before you Mantine surf over there, you do have free reign to explore Akala Island now that you've taken care of the Grand Trial. You can go back to Brooklet Hill and access some new areas within it by surfing up the numerous waterfalls with your ride Pokemon. You can participate in the newly reopened Battle Royal Arena on Royal Avenue, and the biggest event that happens is that you see another Ultra Wormhole appear. This time, the Ultra Wormhole is broken through the sky above the Wella volcano, and when you climb the route to its peak, which is where Kukui formerly held his trial, you'll see a strange Incineroar tying up a lovely lass with ropes. He strikes you as someone who would be number 1 on the vintage villains list, and he laughs maniacally as the person he's tying up whines.
Oh my god! Let me go, you creep! Like, don't you know who I am? I have over 1 million followers, so like, you better put me down or else.
The mysterious Incineroar shows no signs of stopping. As soon as Hilda has been thoroughly detained, he picks her up with one hand and walks towards the edge of the volcano. You might want to interrupt this, or Hilda could have some serious harm befall her, which I'm sure that nobody wants to see happen. So you call out to the Incineroar. He turns his head towards you and sizes you up before tossing Hilda to the side and approaching you for a battle.
Hey! You can't just toss me aside like some trubbish. This dress is Gucci, you know. Hey! Don't ignore me.
You battle the strange-looking Incineroar. You can't capture it, and it isn't able to call wild Pokemon to its aid, but it's received a boost to its defense and attack stats. It also really likes using punch moves like Fire Punch and Sucker Punch, so be on guard. You beat it fair and square, prompting it to howl and tactically run away, and you go untie Hilda, who is still complaining.
Oh my god, could you like take any longer? If I had even so much as a scratch, my modeling career is going to be like so totally over and it would be all your fault, loser. I saw that weird circly thing and tried to climb up there to take a selfie with it, but like, why doesn't Alola have limos to take you up there? Don't they know that not everyone wants to walk on the rough, dirty, ground?
Hilda continues complaining as she pulls out her phone to try and get service to tell her BFFs that Alola is totally lame, and much like at 10 Carat Hill, if you're expecting her to give you an item or something, you'll be sorely disappointed. I promise she does factor into the story later, but for right now, she's just the lovably mean valley girl you keep bumping into. Okay, you've done pretty much everything there is to do on Akala, so let's move on to the next island you must overcome. You Mantine surf from the Tidesong Beach and sailed to Ula Ula Island. You land at the southeastern shore and take a moment to survey the surrounding area. The road heading north to Melee City is blocked by a trainer trying to teach their Wailord how to survive on land, but thankfully, you can still access the power plant, which now has a much larger area you can explore. In addition to a larger environment, the power plant houses another shocking feature, a brand new trial you can take on. In the time between this hypothetical game and Ultra, Sophocles, one of the trial captains, has become an intern working at the power station, and set up a brand new trial you can challenge. This trial involves traversing generators that are set up at Blush Mountain, and knocking away Pokemon that are mooching off of the energy. To do this, Sophocles gives you a new ride Pokemon, a Turtonator, and when you want to quote-unquote ride it, the game takes you into a first-person perspective of the Pokemon and lets you shoot projectiles out of its mouth. You need to use Turtonator's power to knock down 4 energy-stealing Pokemon throughout the power plant, and when you do, you battle them like normal so they leave the area. After you successfully scare off the energy-stealing Pokemon, the gigantic trial monster appears. It's a totem Alolan Raichu that can summon Plusle and Minun to help it battle. Not even this fearsome sight will stop your conquest, however, and you break through the electricity in the air to crush the totem, complete your trial, and earn an Electricity MZ in the process. Now that you've finished your 5th trial, you work your way westward down the coast. You arrive at the Trailer Park Plaza, and you see a couple of Team Reskull grunts stealthily going even further west. You follow them, and you're led to a somewhat creepy area with the heralded abandoned supermarket you've been searching for. You enter it, and you're greeted by Plumeria. She's surrounded by Team Reskull grunts, and there's an older man frowning and a younger girl in tattered rags here too.
So you decided to show up after all. Great. I take it that Pompadour and Lily are on their way too?
You tell her Yan that the two of them are taking a ferry over.
Cool. Looks like we might just pull this off. Let's go over the plan before they arrive.
What? Aren't you going to introduce us, Plumeria?
Oh, this is Acerola and Nanu.
Hey, we deserve more of an intro than that!
The young girl with ragged clothing skips up to you and the older guy slowly trudges next to her.
I'm Acerola, and I'm the trial captain of this spooky store. Usually this is where I set up my trial, but when Team Reskull needed a place to stay after Team Buddy started chasing them, I totally let them crash here. The ghost types weren't too happy about that and left, but I'm sure once we fix everything, they'll come back. Oops, sorry, Uncle. This is Nanu, Ula Ula's kahuna.
Hey.
Alright, if we're done with the intros, now can we talk about how to save Guzma and the rest of Team Reskull?
Okay, here, I brought the map you wanted.
Nanu lays a map of Ula Ula Island on a pile of junk, and the four of you gather around it.
Okay, so, when Team buddyized, or whatever dumb word you were using, Guzma and the rest of our fam, they totally remodeled Potown. That was where we usually hung out at, but now, it's all sunshine and rainbows over there. Guzma should be at the house at the far end, so all we have to do is get in there, and hopefully that greaser guy will show up and help him. I don't know what he's got planned to do to Guzma, but...
Yo, 5-0! 5-0! The nice zombies are coming!
A Reskull grunt dashes into the room yelling a bunch of warnings, and that's when you see a swarm of Team Buddy grunts enter the building.
Crap! I didn't think they'd find us so fast. We can totally take them, though. So everyone, get ready!
All of you are bracing yourselves for a tussle, and that's when you hear some obnoxious laughter emanating from the crowd of swell people. A vaguely familiar man with a sinister smirk emerges, and he chuckles at the sight before him.
Well, isn't this just dandy? I was only tasked with capturing the rest of Team Skull, but it looks like I got more than I bargained for. A trial captain, a kahuna, and a worthless runt.
Of course it's you. The Aether Foundation should have fired your worthless butt last year, Faba.
Team Buddy doesn't like words like that. They're my new employers, and I've gotta make them happy. Even if I have to abide by their insanely dumb rules.
Why would they work with a walking piece of garbage like you?
Yeah! Don't they know you have a habit of being awful to everyone? Like, I haven't even met you until now, and even I know that!
Ugh. You're all so bratty. Especially this worthless child. Team Buddy found my research with Ultra Beasts enlightening, and they've entrusted me to be one of their leading scientists on interdimensional research. Helping them sure beats the alternative, which is what's going to happen to all of you.
Yeah, right. Like you could ever do anything to us. Player, go teach him a lesson. We'll make sure the buddy grunts are out of your way.
A mini skirmish breaks out inside the decaying supermarket, and with everyone else busy taking on Team Buddy grunts, you're left to deal with Faba. He battles you with a Slowbro, Hypno, Kadabra, and Bruxish, and looks extremely cocky as he has his Pokemon use very obvious attacks like Psychic and Psybeam. You plan your own attacks around this, however, and overpower his entire team, causing him to stoop to the floor.
Of course, the stupid children always defeat me. I should have just warped to a dimension where everyone is terrible at training Pokemon.
Faba cowers in defeat. As you and your team are celebrating, you hear a familiar humming seep into the building. A pink mist has appeared outside the store, and from it emerges a shadowy figure. She saunters into the building and smiles at everyone as she towers over Faba.
Having some trouble here, my darling Clyde?
I told you, my name is Faba! And I'm not having trouble. I'm just taking a moment to plan out my next strategy.
Cynthia gives an incredibly patronizing laugh, and Faba becomes annoyed.
Well, it certainly looks like you had a bit of a Grundy here. We'll definitely need to talk with the boss about that, darling.
Cynthia's smile turns sinister as Faba's sneer turns to confusion, and all the color drains from his face.
What do you mean?
Our boss doesn't like it when Team Buddy members fail in completing their mission to make people happy. Those people who fail are so sad. And you do know what happens to Team Buddy members that are sad, right?
Faba is suddenly dragged from the supermarket by two Team Buddy grunts who look like police officers. He struggles to break free from their grasp, but soon his screams are silenced as he's dragged out into the pink haze, far away from sight. Cynthia gives an innocent giggle as she fluffs her fur and pulls out a compact to check her makeup.
Sorry, folks. Give me a moment to put on my face. Giving bad news like that always stresses me out, and I'd hate to give you the wrong impression of Team Buddy. You'll have to forgive Clyde's bad behavior. He's such a rotten egg, and I'd hate for him to spoil all of you.
Cynthia makes a step towards your group, but Nanu and Plumeria move in front of you and Acerola.
She's the strong one I've been hearing about. Acerola, you and the player have to get out of here. Take the exit in the back.
Yeah, we've got this. After we're done here, we'll meet the two of you at the entrance of Potown. If we don't arrive soon, go save Guzma without us.
Acerola, trusting Nanu with all of her heart, runs to the back of the store to escape. You don't follow her right away, as you still feel like you can help take on Cynthia, and that's when the Team Buddy police officers return. This time around, they have mysterious pink variants of Pokemon with them, and they're also wielding Lucid Mist spray guns. On Cynthia's command, they start attacking and misting everyone in the room, and though people are putting up a fight, many Team Reskull grunts fall into a daze of happiness. Above the chaos, Plumeria shouts at you to get out of here, and you rush to the back of the building before Cynthia can apprehend you. You crawl out of a secret window and are now in a small forested area. It's full of ghost-type Pokemon you can encounter, and you follow a pathway that leads back to the Trailer Park Plaza. You don't see Acerola anywhere, which is definitely concerning, but you still decide to honor your promise to Plumeria and save Guzma. You travel clockwise around the island, which, by the way, if you try to go back to the supermarket, you'll be denied access by Team Buddy grunts who say that they're refurbishing the building, and you'll get to surf through a small water route, battle many trainers and wild Pokemon, and even go through a flower patch area where a thick pink mist is blocking you, and you have to use your ride Braviary to make it through. After traversing all of this, you arrive at a quaint street right on the outskirts of Potown's walls. You approach a classy wooden door embedded into the massive steel, and as you do, you glance around hoping that someone else is here to help you. But alas, nobody else is here. You're gonna have to go into the belly of the dandy beast alone, so I hope you're prepared to crush it. You ring the doorbell, which lets out a cheery tone, and the doors unlock and slowly open, welcoming you to what, for all intents and purposes, is a Team Buddy hideout. You brace yourself for the worst as you step into the town, and what you're about to see is truly shocking. The sun is shining brightly, like so much so that you get the impression it never goes away. A faint aroma that smells like the sea breeze. No, wait, cookies. Actually, I take that back. Lemonade wafts through the air. All the houses have been fixed up and painted in bright, happy colors, and you see numerous Team Reskull grunts dressed in classy 1950s fashion happily talking to each other as they go about their day. Some are mowing the lawn, others happily gossiping, and there's even a few that are just taking in the delightfully happy day with their Pokemon. A brightly painted sign nearby designates the swell town as Poford. It's unsettling to say the least, and horrifyingly happy to say the most. Plumeria said Guzma was most likely at the house at the far end of Poford, so you begin your descent into madness and start walking through the buddy-ized Potown. You go through a maze-like dungeon of the pleasant Poford suburbs, and along the way battle buddy-ized Team Reskull grunts. They're very friendly and cordial to you, offering to heal your Pokemon and give you some helpful items, but once you trounce them, they snap back to normal instantly and freak out at how they're just like old people, yo! As you're blasting through Poford, rejecting the kind hospitality of these reformed street youth, you'll soon find yourself inside of the mansion at the end of the road. You work your way through another small maze of lavish vintage rooms where even more Team Buddy, Team Reskull grunts try to stop you and have a nice chit-chat, and you'll go upstairs and enter a large, beautiful terrace. Standing at the end of it, gazing off of the lovely balcony at this swell town, is a man and woman. They're holding hands and acting very lovey-dovey with one another. If you thought my greaser character's slang was bad, you ain't heard nothing yet.
Oh, my plumbed pudding, Petalil. It looks like we have company.
Oh, my darling Schmoopy Doozle. I know them. Back when I was such a hooligan, we made plans to turn you back to normal.
Oh, my radiant rambunctious rose. How silly and adorable you were. Why don't we stop this degenerate? Then I can cook you a swell dinner.
You spoil me so, Guzma. Maybe we can have this ruffian try your puffin a la meatloaf? It's just so scrumptious.
Though you haven't eaten since, well, honestly, since you arrived in Alola, you can't let the nice facade of the dandy duo distract you, and you and your Pokemon get ready to smack some sense back into them. They give such joyous laughs, but hold hands as they call out their Pokemon to meet yours in a friendly fight. They work together in a double battle, and Guzma uses a Golisopod and Masquerain, while Plumeria has a Gengar and Crobat. Their normally brash fighting style has been replaced with something more calculated, and they also use a lot of moves that focus on boosting each other's Pokemon. Once beaten, the two of them erupt into a fit of giggles and applaud you for being such a rambunctious youngster. Though you defeated them and they experienced a shock, so to speak, it wasn't enough to break through their romance and free them from their happiness curse. Guzman wants to celebrate your victory and invites you to join them for supper. He excuses himself from the balcony to go downstairs and get started on the puffin loaf, but things aren't quite that easy for him.
Hey, where do you think you're going, Gramps?
Yeah, you... what should I say, buddy?
Lily, call him out on his lame fashion style. Say he looks like a total cube.
Okay, thanks. You look like a cube!
Hey, that was really good, little Lil! You turn around to see Lily and Buddy standing confidently in the doorway. Guzman gives them a friendly hello as he tries to walk around, but they ain't letting him.
All right, little Lil, let him have it.
Here we go!
Lily whips out the spray can that Buddy had stored the buddyizing antidote in and sprays Guzma a few times with it. His vapid grin slowly fades into a look of disgust. His hands clench into fists as he remembers just what exactly has happened to him, and though he doesn't do it, you can tell he wants to rip his clothing to shreds.
Schmoopy, what's wrong, darling?
Guzma turns around, and when he sees what's become of his former admin, he's truly revolted. He snatches the antidote spray out of Lily's hands and gives Plumeria a full misting. Then he does it one more time for good measure. Plumeria's eyes slowly regain their clarity, and she glares around with a scowl.
What happened? Where am I?
Hey, you're safe now, baby! Sorry we were so late. We ran into a couple Team Buddy grunts we had to stealth past, and then I kinda got a little sick on the boat ride over, but Lily came in clutch with some berries, so I'm good now, huh? Thanks again, little Lil.
Lily smiles, and the celebration of Potown being saved is cut short when Guzma yells out.
Yo, Team Buddy's gonna pay for what they did to us. Team Reskull doesn't play around. You ready to go, Plumeria?
Whoa there, old-timer. We can't just go knocking on the door and expect to battle through 'em all. We gotta be strategic about this.
Who the hell asked you, huh?
First of all, watch your language. They're Lily's present. Second of all, I'm the guy who just saved you, Grandpa.
What the? Granddad? I'm the same age as you, man.
You got white hair, though, so you gotta be at least over 60, Daddy-o. There's a bit of a clashing of the egos between Guzma and Buddy, and as they're going back and forth, Plumeria eventually speaks up.
Hey! Listen, you two idiots! I'm as mad as you are about this, Guzma. But the Pompadour guy is right. If we try to do this without a plan, we're as good as dead. I want to save our fam too, but if we get captured again, it's gonna be puffin' a la meatloaf every night and holding hands as we look at the stars and think of our happy life together.
Ugh, sounds terrible. Well, not too bad actually, but being buddy-eyes to get there ain't good at all.
Fine. What should we do then? I ain't listening to this Pompadour guy if that's what you want.
Hey, I ain't that bad, Daddy-o. Come on, I mean, I was a villain, but I'm totally good now, right, Lil?
Lily shrugs her shoulders and gives a sort of motion with her hand, and all the air totally deflates out of Buddy. Lily's serious face twists into a smile and she giggles. He's confused for a moment, but then smirks.
You are getting so funny now, Lily. You had me worried there, huh?
I mean, you did throw up on that captain's shoes.
Hey, you said you weren't gonna tell people!
Lily laughs at that, and if Guzma's facial expression were a book, its title would be, I'm done with everything, please end me. At this point, Plumeria steps forward and takes charge. She says that she, Guzma, Lily, and Buddy will stay in Poford and start planning their next move against Team Buddy. She gives you a Poisonium Z and a Buginium Z as a thank you gift for saving her and Guzma, and says that they'll call you when they figured out what to do next. Sounds like a plan, and you wave goodbye to everyone as you exit Poford to get back to your journey. Once outside of town, you get a call on your Aether decks from a Alola. She's happy that you're okay and inquires if you were able to save Potown. You say you were, and she gives a sigh of relief. She says that right after escaping from the supermarket, she was chased down by Team Buddy grunts, but was able to escape them by going up to the Hokulani Observatory. That's actually what she wanted to talk to you about, and asks if you'll meet her up there for some important trial-related business. With a destination now set, you enter a brand new cave located right here. And this takes you into a new area in this hypothetical game, which is composed of a network of caverns beneath Mount Lanakila. This is a pretty standard tunnel-type environment, and there are 2 exits you can take out of here. One puts you out at the Haina Desert, while the other takes you to Route 10, right where the Hokulani bus stop is at. This is the path you're gonna want to take, and before you know it, you've traversed Mount Lanakilla's catacombs and are riding a bus up to the Hokulani Observatory. When you arrive, you see the observatory has taken on quite a different feeling than it had in Ultra. The building looks run down with broken lights and debris on the depressing exterior, and the atmosphere it gives off is a lot more foreboding. You see Acerola nearby and get the details on what she wanted to talk to you about. As she mentioned at the supermarket when she took Team Skull into the safety of her trial store, all the ghost types that were living there fled the area. All of them decided to take up residence at the Hokulani Observatory, scaring away all of the scientists working here, and that's what Acerola wanted to talk to you about. She wants you to go through the building and let all the ghost Pokemon know they can return home now. You're gonna have to battle a few of them just so they get the message, and if you're able to get all of them to leave, she'll count this as your trial. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal if you ask me, and you agree to her terms and embark into the abandoned observatory. The trial essentially boils down to exploring the building and defeating ghost-type Pokemon. There's a locked door you need to open, and after finding the key, you can enter a room with a massive telescope. This is where you have a battle against a Totem Mimikyu who seems to be a big fan of the move Play Rough and uses it excessively. If you can withstand all the pain it brings and are able to KO it, the doll-like Pokemon floats away from the observatory, and all the other ghost types in the area follow it. Acerola appears and gives you a Ghostinium Z and says you've officially completed her trial. She thanks you for all the help and says the ghost types will be happy to be back in their home. And now as an added bonus, the scientists can return to the observatory and continue their research. As for herself, Acerola is going to go to Melee City and look for her uncle Nanu, who she hasn't been able to find since after Team Buddy attacked. She skips away and leaves you in the abandoned observatory to go about your business. Now at this point in the game, your next main destination is Melee City, but before we go over there, I wanted to run through an important side quest that becomes available to you right after completing the observatory trial. This mission takes place at the Lake of the Sun/Moon, which for this story I'm just going to call the Lake of the Moon. If you're able to locate this mythical area, you'll be treated to a small cutscene when you arrive that shows an ultra wormhole ripping through the sky above it and dropping a person, among many other items and Pokemon, into the ruins. If you enter the old temple, you'll find it's been greatly expanded from what it was like in Ultra, and it's now much more of a labyrinth you'll have to maneuver through. As you're making your way through the maze, you'll encounter a lot of wild Pokemon that aren't native to Alola, including a few from my regional videos, and when you've successfully navigated the confusing corridors, you'll arrive at a small platform raised at the center of the lake. It's here you see a woman sitting down confused. She's surrounded by wild Pokemon, all of whom have a similar deerling in headlights look to them, and as you approach her, you get a sense for her attitude immediately as she bounces up to you.
OMG! Like, I'm Rosa! Who are you? Oh, coolsies! So, like, I was looking for my BFF Hildy, and then, like, this glowy, ringy thingy toad sucked me into it. It was, like, not funsies for sure. And then I totes fell into this grody-looking place. I tried to find my way out, but, like, it's too confusing. But I'm so, like, glad these little guys are okay, though. I, like, totally love Pokemon. #cuties!
As Rosa said, she can't find her way out of the ruins, but thankfully you're here to help. This is your next side quest at the Lake of the Moon, and your goal is to lead Rosa out of the labyrinthian ruins. It's a bit harder than I'm making it sound, because sometimes Rosa will wander away from you, or she wants to take a selfie with a Pokemon, but if you persist, you'll guide her to the ruins exit.
Oh my god, like, thanks, new bestie! You're, like, super amazing and stuff. Here, you toast deserve something cool for saving me. I found this pretty rock when I fell down from the glowy thingy. Anyways, like, I'm gonna go, like, try to find my bestie now. Maybe even shop a little too. Bye!
Rosa gives you an Evium Z and 100,000 Pokédollars as a reward, and then Bubbly skips away to no doubt try and find her friend. Now, as I said earlier, this event with Rosa is a side quest that doesn't necessarily advance the main story, but that doesn't mean it isn't important. Helping Rosa will tie back into the main buddyization threat storyline, and speaking of which, let's get back to that. After aiding Rosa, you travel to Melee City. As you're sightseeing through town, you'll bump into a familiar face outside of the town's garden, your rival Ulani. She reveals that Team Buddy is throwing a garden party inside, but she got bored and left. She wants to have a battle against you to at least feel some kind of excitement today, and so it's time to have a duel. Ulani uses the final form of the starter that's effective against yours, a Toucanon, Umbreon, and Alolan Ninetales. She's definitely gotten stronger since your last showdown and commands her Pokemon with pinpoint precision. It's a tense battle, but Ulani gives a sigh as she's been defeated by you once more. She lets out a rather genuine compliment on your strength as a trainer, which totally catches you off guard, then goes to Melee City's Pokemon Center. The pathway to Melee Garden is now open, and at hearing that Team Buddy is throwing some kind of party in there, you know trouble is most likely a-brewin'. You enter the garden and find it's been decked out in classy vintage decorations. Tons of Team Buddy grunts, Buddy-Eyes trainers, Pokemon, and even just regular people are hanging around talking to each other, and everyone seems to be having a good time. It looks like a fairly normal event, although you know the true nature of Team Buddy, which means the sinister undertones are apparent. And out of the corner of your eye, you spot 3 figures in the central gazebo. Our swell mother Cynthia is there, of course, but in addition, you see an upset Acerola confronting her and a very formal-looking policeman making sure the kid doesn't run away. Upon closer inspection, the cop is actually Nanu, and he has an uncharacteristic smile, which means that... oh no. You try to run up to them, but the bridge to the gazebo is blocked by a table stacked high with puffin loaves and Magikarp casseroles. You don't have time to argue with the unique foods of the 50s, and so you have to work your way around the outskirts of the garden to find an open bridge to the center. You battle many Team Buddy grunts who notice that you're panicked and try to help you by battling you, and when you're halfway through the garden, you hear Cynthia talking to Acerola.
Oh, I'm so happy to meet such a cutie pie. Now you're going to be part of our lovely family, sweetie. Come give Mommy a hug.
Uncle, please help me! I need help!
Acerola screams for Nanu to help, but he just stands there smiling. Cynthia pulls her into a sickly sweet hug, and Acerola's struggling slowly turns into limp confusion. Cynthia thanks Officer Nanu for his help, and she tenderly guides the dazed Acerola out of the gazebo, leaving Nanu alone. You finally make it through the Team Buddy-infested green space and enter the central gazebo. Smiling Team Buddy officers armed with Lucid Mist sprayers try to foil your mission, but you're able to dodge their misting attacks and use your Pokemon to knock them into the water. You now come face to face with the crooked cop Nanu, and though he's still buddy-eyes, you know you have to try and knock some sense into him.
Oh golly, have you come for a kahuna battle against me? I'm in such high spirits after helping my darling niece that I must warn you that my Pokemon and I won't lose so easily. Let's both do our best and have a good time.
This is gonna sound weird, but technically this is your grand trial for Ula Ula Island. Nanu has a team consisting of Alolan Persian, Sableye, Absol, and Krokorok, and they put up a formidable fight. You soon defeat him, however, and he gives you a Darkium Z and says that you've completed his grand trial. After he hands you the crystal, he tries to make small talk, but his face slowly contorts into one that shows panic and seriousness, and he eventually breaks free of being buddy-ized. His eyes dart around in panic, trying to find Acerola, and when he realizes what he's done, he bows his head in shame.
No. What have I done? I couldn't protect her, not even from myself.
It's a depressing scene in your journey, and you're jolted out of the moment when you get a call on your Ether Dex from Buddy. He keeps it brief and says they might have found a way to tip the scales in your favor for when you assault Team Buddy's headquarters. He asks you to return to Poford so he can explain the plan, and after giving a concerned glance to Nanu, who is still standing there sadly, you fly back to your group. When you arrive, you find Buddy, Lily, Guzma, and Plumeria hanging out on the center street. They walk up to you and give you the lowdown on what they've planned.
Hey, good to see you, Ankle Bada. We've been planning out our next move on Team Buddy. Grandpa here seemingly knows a way to sneak in, and we think if we can get in there and sabotage the place with the buddy-assing antidote, things will turn back to normal, you dig?
Yo, I told you, I ain't no grandpa!
The only problem, though, is we're gonna need a whole lot of firepower to get in there, so we've been racking our domes to try and gather people to help us. That was when Little Lil had a great idea. Lily nervously steps forward.
So, a year ago, I made friends with someone really powerful. I called them Nebby, and together, we took on a powerful Pokemon named Necrozma. The last time I saw Nebby was at Pony Island, so I think if we go there, we might find Nebby and get him to join us.
Buddy nods his head supportively, but Guzma, on the other hand, isn't quite as down with the idea.
What? So that's just a feeling you had, and not something real? I thought you actually knew somebody, or had something right now. Come on, that ain't good to us, Lily. Don't you even want to save everybody?
Guzma huffs and turns his back on the group. Lily sniffles as tears well in her eyes.
I do, I thought...
Guzma is suddenly thrown to the ground, and Buddy is holding him by the collar, giving him a serious glare.
Hey, don't do that to her, huh? We've all lost people, and we all want them to come back. She's lost more than you can ever know, and she's trying her best, Daddy-O. If Lily thinks that finding Nebby is going to help, then I trust her, and you better get on board fast. Right now, this is our best bet, so show some respect and try to be more compassionate, huh?
He lets go of Guzma's collar and goes to try and comfort Lily. Guzma is shocked, but picks himself up off the ground and grumbles as he slides back to the mansion.
Is he gonna be alright?
Yeah, he'll be fine. This whole thing has just hit us hard. Let me go talk to him, and you guys go after Nebby.
Plumeria goes back to the mansion to sort out Guzma's emotional baggage. Lily wipes away her tears as she tries to steady herself. Buddy makes sure she's stable and sighs as he looks towards where Guzma and Plumeria went.
I don't want to leave you guys, but I gotta go talk to Guzman and make sure he's alright. He shouldn't have said what he did, and I'm so sorry you had to hear that, Lil, but he's one of our slodges right now, and I might have been too harsh on him, huh? I'm counting on you and the player to go find Nebby, and once you do, we can fix Alola, yeah? We'll be laughing about this next week with your mama and bro, Lily, and Cherry will be back, and it'll all be great, and everything's gonna be A-okay, doll.
Buddy gets a wistful sparkle in his eye, and it's motivating both you and Lily to go get Nebby.
Just make sure you're both careful, alright? Lily, make sure you guide Wigglytuff well, too.
I will, Buddy. We'll be back soon.
The two of you leave Poford behind as your greaser friend cheers you on, and your next objective in the game lies at Pony Island. You get to Mantine Surf over there while Lily takes a ferry, and you both meet up at the Seafolk Village.
Alright, we just have to make it through Vast Pony Canyon and up to the Altar of the Sun. That's where I feel that Nebby will be. We can't fail now, player, so let's do our best.
Lily runs ahead of you energetically with Buddy's Wigglytuff waddling after her, and at this point in the game you get to navigate through Pony Island mostly uninterrupted. Aside from battling wild Pokemon and trainers that challenge you, you can also complete your 7th trial while you're here. This is totally optional, and you can wait until after you've done all of the Nebby stuff to do this, but I might as well detail this trial while we're still at the start of Pony Island's story. So there's a uniquely themed boat at the Seafolk Village that's shaped like a pink Whiscash. When you go inside, you find the interior has a vintage aesthetic going on, and there's a girl dressed like a Team Buddy member that's trying to paint retro art. Turns out this is Mina, the 7th trial captain, and despite her appearance, she isn't actually buddyized. Team Buddy wanted to fund her art and commission her for various paintings, and they provided her with new furniture and clothing, which she just kinda rolled with because she's super chill. The problem, however, is that she isn't getting any inspiration for her art. She has a deadline of this evening, which is when Team Buddy will be holding a big gala, and she's barely finished one painting. She's hoping you doing her trial will inspire her, so no pressure, but Mina's job is on the line based on how well you do at her challenge. For her trial specifically, you'll be warped to a large boat that has a gigantic blank canvas on it. You get to ride one of Mina's new Pokemon, which is a special Gastrodon that leaves a colored slime trail behind it, and your task for this trial is to draw lines from point to point on the canvas while avoiding obstacles. You know those dot-to-dot puzzles? That's basically what this trial would be like, although you get different grades based on how smooth the line is, and if you go too slow or hit an obstacle, you have to battle a wild Pokemon. Once you've completed the dot-to-dot puzzle, you're shown an aerial view of what you've drawn, and it's vaguely reminiscent of a Smeargle. Suddenly, the canvas rips in half, and a gigantic pink Smeargle jumps out of the boat towards you. This is, of course, a totem battle, and you must make quick work of this mysterious Smeargle. It's a fairy type that can force Cutiefly to help it, and you quickly find out that the attacks it knows are all powerful moves made to counter poison and steel-type Pokemon. You survive its bombardment of earthquakes and flamethrowers and launch it off the ship into the abyss. Mina's mouth is agape at how much overkill you gave that poor Smeargle, but she still hands you a Farium Z for completing her trial. She then says that while you were doing her challenge, she was inspired enough to complete some pieces of art, and if you ever want to come back and help her again, just talk to her and she has many more connect the dot puzzles you can do. Alright, getting back to your main objective of finding Nebby, you continue journeying around Pony Island and soon enter the vast Pony Canyon. It's here you run across Lily and Wigglytuff hiding behind some rocks while Team Buddy Grunts are playing Go Fish a few meters away.
Hey, player! Wigglytuff and I were going through here and we found some Team Buddy Grunts. What do you think they're up to? I know we're here for Nebby, but we should stop them, right?
You and Lily confront the Team Buddy Grunts and they offer to let you and your Pokemon join in on their game. Little do they know that you're not interested in card games and immediately challenge them to a Pokemon battle, where you take on one Grunt while Lily takes on the other. Lily has been picking up some fighting tips from Buddy and is able to make quick work of the Buddy Grunts, and she only said "ay" 2 times while doing so. The Grunts fall to the ground and offer you important information if you'll kindly leave them in peace. They say some other Grunts are up ahead at the large altar getting some important materials ready for a big Team Buddy event. Unfortunately, the Grunts don't know what the materials are as they were just on lookout duty, and that's all the information you really need. You and Lily continue going through Pony Canyon, tearing through more Team Buddy members until you see a tall staircase that leads up to the altar of the sun.
There it is! That's the altar we're looking for! It looks different, though.
A large ultra wormhole is currently active at the top of the altar, and as you and Lily rush up the staircase, you begin to see some really weird stuff. Tons of high-tech, although vintage-looking machinery has been set up throughout the altar, and many Team Buddy Grunts and scientists are examining data and calculations from them. In the middle of everything, you see a lot of canisters that have a strange jellyfish Pokemon in them, and on the other side of the Ultra Wormhole, you see dozens more canisters are being examined and experimented on by strange-looking Team Buddy members. The two of you aren't quite sure what's happening here, but you know that it's definitely evil and has to be stopped. You and Lily split up to battle Team Buddy members around the platform. As you swiftly knock past them with your Pokemon, you see that Lily is doing the same. She's a little hesitant, but her and Wigglytuff make a great team and only take a little damage. Soon, both of you meet up in front of the large portal, and it's here that 2 dapperly, although somewhat unusual-looking people approach you.
Looks like we have intruders to deal with, Father.
Oh, golly, it sure does, my Ultra Angel! Would you like to battle them in a double battle, darling?
Oh, that'd be just ultra swell.
The 2 people, whose names are Soliera and Fico, engage you and Lily in a double battle. On their team, Soliera has a Furfrou and Naganadel, and Fico has a Naganadel and Behem. Lily is coming in clutch with Wigglytuff, and you both work together to bring down the Ultra Dandy people. Upon being beaten, they clutch their heads in pain and then glance around the area in a newfound clarity. Ah, my head! It's killing me! Are you alright, Soliera? Are we back to normal?
I think so, Fico. We were saved by these children. Thank you, trainers. You've been of great assistance today.
You're welcome. Please, take it easy now, you two. If you're feeling alright, I was wondering if you could tell us what exactly is happening here.
Well, we're part of a team called the Ultra Recon Squad, and we hail from another dimension. A few months ago, one of our members came home, but they had been corrupted by Team Buddy. They spread that swell influence all over the Ultra Megalopolis, our home, and Team Buddy decided that our dimension was suitable to harvest the Ultra Beast Nihilego for their needs. Fico gestures to the canisters filled with the alien jellyfish Pokemon Nihilego, and this brings up a very important question.
What's Team Buddy planning to do with them?
I'm sorry, but not even we know.
We've been sending these to the Aether Foundation for weeks, but never went there ourselves. Nihiligo have parasitic properties, so whatever is being done to them is most assuredly bad news.
Fico and Soliera share a look of concern. I know, Soliera. I'm worried about them too. The new recruit was thankfully out on a solo mission when Team Buddy attacks, so I'm sure they're alright, and we both know that Dulce is much too experienced to fall prey to the Buddy grunts. I'm sure he's out looking for Zossie right now and will bring her home safely. The two interdimensional squad members turn back to you and say they're going to return the Nihiligo that are here back to their own worlds, then they're going to save their Ultra Dimension. They ask you to take care of things in this world, and if you see any of their colleagues, to please save them. They give you a poiple as a thank you gift and then depart through the Ultra Wormhole, which dissipates into the air. Okay, you're definitely gonna need Nebby's help for the battles ahead, and Lily says now's the time to summon it. She pulls two mystical flutes out of her bag, the Flute of the Sun and the Flute of the Moon.
Alright, player, let's try to summon Nebby. A year ago, a former champion and I used these instruments to help Nebby power up, and I think if we use them again, it will return here. I was worried the Island Guardians might have been mad I didn't put these flutes back, but I think they knew we'd have to use them again someday.
She hands you a flute and the two of you get into position. On Lily's signal, you both play your instruments and the sound they make creates an energy vortex around you. This power flows through the ground, up into the altar's crest, and you hear a loud "Boo!" echo through the air. A new Ultra Wormhole breaks through the space in front of you, and one of the Alola's legendary Pokemon steps out of it to face you. For the sake of this video, I'm using Solgaleo as the example, as it's one of my favorites, but keep in mind that it could also be Lunala, provided you're playing the quote-unquote Aether version game.
Nebby, you're here!
The Solgaleo, hereafter referred to as Nebby, looks at Lily and lets out a joyous roar as she runs over to it and gives it a hug tackle. The two take a moment to have a nice reunion, and then Lily remembers everything that's at stake and breaks from her embrace.
Alright, player, you're gonna have to capture Nebby. Solgaleo. It wants to battle you to make sure you're worthy enough to handle it. Don't worry, he looks tough, but he's just a big pushover. Earn its trust, and then we can go save everyone!
With Lily's okay, you enter into a battle against the Solgaleo. You have to capture this legendary Pokemon to continue the story, and it puts up a heck of a fight, calling upon its interdimensional power to strike you. If you can stand up to this powerful beast and capture it, Lily will become overjoyed, not just for you, but for Nebby to have a great new trainer. A strange beeping sound erupts from your bag. You pull out your Aether decks to find you're getting an urgent video message from the Aether Foundation. You, Lily, and Nebby gather curiously around the device, and a message from Wick plays on the screen.
Hello, my darling sweethearts. The Aether Foundation is proud to announce we'll be holding a swell gala at our main headquarters today. And everyone is invited. The lovely Team Buddy will be hosting it, and as such, all Team Buddy members are required to be here. So make sure to put on a smile and drop on by for a dandy celebration. Especially you, Lilith.
The video ends and you look over at Lily. She's clearly been shaken by the message, but does her best to regain her confidence.
No, there's no time to be scared anymore. Come on, player. Let's go back to Poford and meet up with Buddy. It's time we save everyone.
Lily's got the right idea, and the two of you return to Poford. You meet up with Buddy, Guzma, and Plumeria, who have somewhat patched things up since you last saw them, and you also see that Ulani is here too. She's finally realized that Team Buddy ain't as good as they've been leading her on to be, and she was recruited to your cause when Team Buddy tried to take her and Tao to their salon, but they escaped from them, which is a daring side story for another time. Hey, welcome back, Slodges. I take it you found that Nebby person?
Yep, the player captured them, and now we're ready for anything.
This great help that's supposed to stop Team Buddy is called Nebby.
Wait, you captured a person?
Oh, no, Nebby's not a...
Nebby decides it wants to introduce itself properly and breaks out of its Pokeball to gallantly pose for everyone. Buddy is absolutely floored at the sight of the legendary beast, as is the rest of the group. Whoa! You didn't tell me your friend was a crazy space lion, Lil. That's pretty rad, Dolly. He's gotta be strong, huh?
Considering Solgaleo is one of Alola's legendary Pokemon, then yeah, it's pretty strong.
Awesome! Looks like we have almost everything we need to get the plan a-rollin'. Who's ready to take down Team Buddy and save Alola?
Things are obviously escalating to the point of the big finale, but before we get into the climax of this hypothetical game, there's something kind of important I need to address about the strike team you formed. The base team is comprised of 5 members: my former bad guy turned good guy self, Guzma, Lily, Ulani, and you, the player. In addition to these 5, however, you can also recruit 4 other trainers to help you take on Team Buddy. You unlock each of the 4 by doing different side quests, and I wanted to quickly go through each of these characters and how you can get them to join your Alola saving group. The first character you can recruit is Nanu, and he's probably the easiest. All you need to do is find him and talk to him, and he'll gladly join your team. He became rather depressed after becoming buddy-ized and giving Acerola away, and he's drowning in his sorrows at the Seafolk Village's floating restaurant. The second character you can recruit is Hilda, the woman who fell out of the Ultra Wormhole and is very, mean, to put it nicely. To get her on the strike team, you'll have to complete her 2 previous missions, meaning that you've saved her at 10 Carat Hill and at the Well of Volcano, and you'll find her sunbathing at the Melee Beach afterwards. Unfortunately, recruiting her isn't as easy as just walking up and talking to her, and there's 2 more requirements you'll need to complete. The first is that you'll have to pay her 500,000 Poké Dollars to pay for, as she puts it, the Hilda tax. And the second thing you'll have to do is supply her with a Pokemon that she can use in the upcoming showdown. This might shock you, but Hilda is a little bit picky, and you have to get her a Pokemon that is specifically level 40, has evolved at least once, and is a flying type.
Like, it better have one of those bird whatever Pokemon and stuff. Those are like the only ones that aren't super barth, okay?
This limits a lot of your choices, but if you truly want her to join your team, which I don't know why anybody wouldn't, you're gonna have a lot of work to do. The third character you can unlock is heavily tied to Hilda, and that's Rosa. She was the follower at the Lake of the Moon, and if you want her on your team, you have to, number 1, complete her Ula Ula Island side quest and guide her out of the ruins she fell into, number 2, have Hilda recruited, and number 3, give her a really cute Pokemon to use, because much like Hilda, she hasn't captured anything, and she really wants to use a partner Pokemon when you go to the Aether Foundation.
Oh, player! Could you find me that adorbs Pikachu that I've been hearing so much about? It's that type of Pikachu that totes loves to dress up, and just thinking about the adorable costumes I can get him is totes making me squeal. But I don't know where to find it, which is kind of lame. But I figured somebody as cool as you would be able to help me, right?
After you've given her a Mimikyu, she'll gladly join your team. She's mostly there to hang out with her gal pal Hilda and gossip, but there is a small part of her that really does want to be there to help you and take down Team Buddy. The final character that can join you is Flint. If you go back to the Tidesong Hotel and talk to him about joining, he says he'll gladly help you out in saving Alola and Cynthia, but he's worried that he might not be strong enough. He's heard that there are some powerful Z crystals hidden deep underneath Mount Lanakila, and he asks you to bring him a couple. You go do that, and when you return, he thanks you for your help and actually gives you one of the Z crystals, which is either a Primarinium Z, Deciduium Z, or Incinerorium Z, depending on your starter Pokemon. After giving you a Z crystal gift, Flint happily joins your strike team. So these 4 characters, Nanu, Hilda, Rosa, and Flint, are all optional, and you don't technically need to recruit any of them to go take on Team Buddy. Depending how many you have with you, however, does make the final confrontation a little bit easier. And for the sake of this video, and in telling the full narrative I imagined, I'll be going over the scenario that takes place if you successfully gathered all 4 of these optional trainers to your cause. When everyone has been gathered at Potown, naturally hijinks and banter ensue.
OMG, Hildy, check out this cutie I got! It's a Pikachu with a cute little mask. I can't wait to take it shopping with me!
Oh my god, Rosa, what is that ugly thing?
It's a Mimikyu, Hilda! Or maybe it's a Mimikyu? I don't know, but it loves getting hugs and the player helps me get it!
Of course that loser helped you. Listen, Bunbo, that thing is such an eyesore and you need to dump it. Nobody's gonna like you if you have a lame Pokemon. And worse than that, I don't want to be associated with, like, an unhot joke of a friend if you keep that worthless thing around.
I don't see how that's a bad thing, all things considered. I'm surprised your Pokemon hasn't tried to run away from you yet, considering how much of a jerk you are.
Hey, this convo, like, doesn't include you, Four Eyes. Besides, my Pokemon totes hashtag loves me, unlike your lame-o Pokemon.
Hey, come on, you guys. We got bigger things to work.
Stay out of this.
Yeah, like, butt out, loser.
Hey, do you guys think we should do something about this?
I've got 50 to 1 that the glasses girl will win.
That's not what I meant!
You're crazy, dog. That other girl's gonna beat her down. She's giving me OG Team Skull vibes, which is dope.
As everyone is bantering with each other, you can talk to each of them individually to get a sense of their personalities and motivation. After enjoying a moment of peace, a strange-looking man saunters into Poford and walks up to your group. He's dressed in dapper clothing and a swell smile, and you vaguely recall seeing him at the Aether Foundation during your Alola adventure briefing.
Ah, Guzman, Plumeria. I do hope I'm not interrupting your swell picnic, but Madame Luce... Wait, you're all normal? Nobody is buddy-eyed anymore?
You and everybody else that's gathered in Poford get ready to throw down with this apparently buddy-eyed person, but he quickly puts his hands up and tries to quell the situation.
Wait! No, it's not what it looks like. My name is Dulce, and I'm not buddy-eyed, I promise. Team Buddy attacked my world, took those closest to me, and twisted them into distortions of their former selves. I had to blend in, or risk being turned as well, and so I've been hiding within their group, waiting for an opportune moment to strike.
Everybody stares at Dulce hesitantly, and Buddy steps forward.
I don't know, pal. Seems awfully convenient you'd know right where to find us, huh? What if you're trying to trick us and you really are buddy-eyed?
Please, you must believe me when I say I'd never deceive you. In fact, now that I know you're all planning to take down Team Buddy, I want to aid you. I've been around the interior of the Foundation and can help you navigate through it and attack where it really counts.
Everyone is still concerned, but the idea of having an apparent insider to aid in your cause does sound helpful. Lily bravely steps forward and vouches for the man.
You're the one that's part of the team with Fico and Soleria, aren't you?
Yes, I am a member of the Ultra Recon squad. Did you meet Fico and Soliera? Are they okay? Was Zossie with them?
Yeah, we ran into them on Pony Island. They're fine, although we didn't meet anybody named Zossie with them.
I see. That means Team Buddy undoubtedly still has Zossie in their clutches. Please, you must allow me to help you. Not just to save Alola or my home dimension, but to save a friend that I've lost.
That last line Dulce says really speaks to Buddy, and if you and Lily can vouch for him and the Ultra Recon squad, it looks like he's a new honorary member of the Verbanks Lodge Strike Team. Alright, Spaceman is now part of our team, so let's all put our heads together and think, huh? We need to figure out a plan on how to get into the Aether Foundation and save everyone, you dig? All of you huddle together to work out your plan of attack. The screen fades to black, and then sometime later it fades back in, and everyone is standing in a half circle around Buddy as he's going over the master plan that everyone helped make.
Hey, listen up, everybody. Operation Bye Bye Love is about to commence. We're gonna take back Alola, but more importantly, we're gonna save our friends, family, and in some cases, mild acquaintances, huh? The plan is simple. The Foundation is having their big gala tonight. They've got some kind of big revelation that'll blah blah blah, happy swell, whatever. We're gonna stop them before they do anything bad, and there are 3 easy steps we gotta do. Step 1, get into the Foundation. Our resident elder over there has a boat he'll be taking us over in, and we can easily sneak into the building through a secret vent only he knows about.
I ain't even gonna bother. Once this is all over with, I'll whoop you in a battle, old-timer.
Step 2, the door to the gala is gonna be locked up tight, and in order to get in, we're gonna need 3 key cards. Take it away, Gort.
Is that me? Okay, the first key card will be in Team Buddy's living quarters on the 5th floor. The second should be at the Grand Kitchen on the main floor. And the final one is at the secret labs in the basement. We'll be splitting up into 3 teams to get these key cards, and once we have them, We'll meet back at the large gala door.
Step number 3, and this is my favorite. We get into the gala, smack down some Team Buddy grunts, defeat their new, obviously less cool leader, and then we open up canisters of this. He slaps 2 giant containers with Alolan Muck-style stripes on them that are stacked beside him. These bad boys have the Lucid Mist antidote in them, and after we've made sure Team Buddy's leader ain't going anywhere, we'll release the antidote into the Foundation and cure everybody from being buddyized. There should be enough here to make sure everyone in the gala can come back to their senses, but it's really important we take down the leader first and foremost though, cause if they escape, then all of this ain't gonna be worth jack squat. We take down the leader, release the antidote, then we all go out for victory, malasadas. You guys ready to rock? The screen pans through the crowd of freedom fighters you've assembled, and everyone is very excited to go and save Alola. With a plan to save Alola now firmly in place, everyone goes to board Team Skull's boat via a new dock near Poford. When you go there yourself, you see that everyone has already boarded the watercraft save for Lily and Buddy, who are standing on the dock talking to each other.
Let's go, Buddy! Wiggly and I are ready to crush it!
Easy, easy! Save the punches for Team Buddy, huh?
Sorry, I've just learned so much about battling from you, and I'm so excited to go save everyone.
I gotta have a heart-to-heart with you. I know you're strong, Lily, and I'd never be one of those people who tries to stop you from helping so you don't get hurt or whatever, but you gotta know being here is gonna be dangerous, alright?
Well, duh, I know, but you said it yourself. As long as we work together, we can do anything.
Yeah, I know you know, but this Team Buddy is bad news, and if you're in trouble, I'm gonna drop everything to make sure you're alright. I don't want you to get hurt like Cherry or anybody else.
I can take care of myself now, Buddy. You've taught me some good battling moves. I mean, I know I'm not as strong as the player or you, but I'm not as weak as I was earlier. I want to help save my family and your friend. This'll be easy, Grandpa.
Hey! Alright, kid. Just be careful, alright? I don't want to have to use a little muck against a buddy-ass version of you, huh? Both Lily and Buddy share a rather tender moment and smile at each other, and then board the boat. You also go in, and your strike team sails across the sea to the Aether Foundation. When you arrive, you discreetly move towards the side of the floating island, and you see many vintagely dressed people and Pokemon have overrun the Foundation. The boat drifts towards a small hatch on the wall, and everyone climbs out of it and enters a tiny entryway. This takes you into a medium-sized air vent, and though it's cramped, everyone can at least get organized. Alright everybody, split up into your teams and meet back in front of the main doorway when you nab the key cards, huh? If you get lost, look at the maps Gork gave you. Everyone nods their heads in agreement and splits into their various teams. You, Lily, and Buddy are one of the teams, and you travel a ways into the vent until you come to an exit that leads to the main objective. Team Buddy's living quarters for all their members, aka the Dandy Dorms! You hop down from the air vent and examine the Foundation. The interior has been entirely redone with a beautiful vintage style, and at this point you have to go through the Dandy Dorms and find the Team Buddy member holding keycard number 1. You can explore a couple different areas attached to the dorms, including a bunch of living rooms, a small diner that's been set up on the floor above you, and even a game room with people playing billiards and cards. And all the while, you get to battle Team Buddy grunts. Among your exploration of the area, you'll find yourself on the diner floor when a jukebox starts rolling. You're unsure what's happening, and that's when you see a familiar face dance up next to you.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes, player? Did you decide to finally join the Carapath instead of that boorish island trial path? Since I am one of the top trainers in the program, I'd be delighted in helping you catch up with Team Buddy's friendship methods.
In a shocking, well, maybe not that shocking, turn of events, Chris has become buddyized. She's still pompous though, I guess some things not even brainwashing can wipe away, and as you might have guessed, the keycard you need is in her grasp. You battle buddyized Chris, who uses a Steelix, Meganium, Slowking, and Donphan. All her Pokemon are tough, but the Steelix especially takes up so much space in the room that it's almost like you're battling a Colossus of old. Once you've made the monster fall, Chris is one of the lucky people who wakes up from her happy trance.
Whoa, what the? Player? What are you doing here? Everything is such a blur.
She isn't entirely sure what's happening, but gives you the keycard she's holding.
I don't know what's going on, but if you need this keycard, then you can have it. I don't even remember who gave it to me or why I had it.
You fill Chris in on everything, and at that moment, Lily and Buddy run into the area. They're ready to fight, but when they see that you've taken care of the situation, they relax slightly.
Oh man, I was totally ready to battle too, buddy. I've been working on the moves you taught me with Wigglytuff. Flying kick!
Hey, that was pretty good, little Lil. You'll get your chance soon enough. The player here is just too dang good at Pokemon battling, huh? Save some for the rest of us, ankle batter.
As all of you catch up, a loud beeping sound breaks through your conversation and you receive an alert on your Aether decks. Actually, make it double. The other two strike teams have run into some problems trying to get their keycards and they're asking for backup. It's at this point in the game that you have a choice of where you go next and which keycard you pursue. You can choose to go to either the Grand Aether Kitchen Complex or the Lucid Labs. But for the sake of the story, let's go to the Aether Kitchen first. You return to the vent with Lily, Chris, and Buddy staying behind to try and help all the other people in the dorms become unbuddyized, and you work your way through the air ducts. Now, it's a little bit of a maze to solve, which is very much intentional. There will be different pathways to crawl through, some spaces that are full of lucid mist you have to avoid, hidden switches that turn on and off certain fans, and it's overall quite the puzzle. I don't think Lusamine thought anyone would be crawling through here for the fate of the world, so I'll give her a pass on how confusing it all is. When you work out the right way to go, you'll pop out of a vent somewhere on the main floor, near the kitchen if the savory aroma in the air is anything to go by. You follow the scent, which leads you through beautifully vintage hallways before you enter a large doorway with a sign that reads the Grand Aether Kitchen. The sign was definitely not lying, as a massive multi-roomed kitchen is spread before you. A couple Team Buddy grunts and their Pokemon are helping prepare food for the gala, mixing in some good old-fashioned lucid mist, which makes the food 1000% sweller. And at the far end of the kitchen, you see three dapperly dressed people that don't look like your typical grunts. You work your way over to the trio, battling past Team Buddy chefs trying to dissuade you, and as you approach them, you see they've captured and tied up Guzma, Hilda, and Rosa, and are about to force-feed them some quote-unquote delicious Jello remoraid salad they've made with a special lucid mist sauce.
I told both of you that trying to disguise ourselves to get the key wasn't gonna work. Y'all are so stupid!
But like, how could they see through my mustache disguise?
Like, what did you just call us? I have 15 million followers. So if that makes me stupid, then, like, you're even dumber, because you probs don't have any.
Before the dandy people can force your allies to eat their disgusting food, you call out to them, and they turn around to greet you in unison. They speak not with words, but with song. You see, these three are the barbershop chorus of Unova, Silent, Chili, and Cress. And as they sing explain, they were hired by Team Buddy to cater this extravagant gala. They caught these ruffians trying to steal a keycard from them, and now they're punishing these undandy folks by having them taste test some new Lucid Mist food they've cooked up. You're not gonna let that fly on your watch, and you engage them in a fight. Kind of a cool detail here, but you actually get to battle Silent, Chili, and Cress in a triple battle. It's only fitting to do this with a trio of people from Unova, and they use a Semi-Sage, Semi-Poor, and Semi-Seer. You show them that their battling ability could still use some spice added to it, and your Pokemon knock these subdued chefs into the wall. They slowly regain a non-dandy consciousness and look around, somewhat dazed. They see you standing in a battle position and assume you're the one who rescued them, and so they give you the second keycard as a reward, alongside a Gracium Z. You untie your captured friends.
Oh my god. Could you, like, go any slower? I've seen blindfolded slowpokes move faster than you.
And when they're free, they leave the Grand Kitchen to go get ready for the final showdown against Team Buddy. We're not quite ready for that just yet, as you still have to get one more keycard to open the gala door, and so you return to the air ducts once more. After another mini-maze, you pop out at the lowest point in the Foundation, the secret Lucid Laboratories. The labs, like the rest of the Foundation, have taken on an old-school theme, although it seems more sinister than the happy vibe the rest of the building usually gives off. As you walk through the labs, you battle some Team Buddy scientists hanging around and discover why exactly this area feels so foreboding as you come across the Pokemon Experiments room. Now, we've talked at length about how Team Buddy, the self-admitted swell organization, uses a special substance called Lucid Mist to buddyize, aka brainwash, people into becoming happy and joining their swell ranks. Well, it turns out this idea of buddyizing can also affect Pokemon, and the lab you've entered is where Team Buddy has been buddyizing and converting Pokemon into friendlier fairy-type versions of themselves. There are chambers with Pokemon being heavily dosed with Lucid Mist, and as you've probably figured out by now, Buddy-Eyes Pokemon are actually what you've been seeing on many occasions throughout this game. Now, if you want to specifically know what types of Buddy-Eyes Pokemon you could capture in this game, you can go over and check out this other video I've made, which has a list of all of them, including their new typings and new abilities. Okay, getting back to the story, you trek onwards into the Aether Labs and enter a new room that's a lot more creepy than the previous one. A blue tint glows on everything, and as you walk through the abandoned desks and 1950s machinery, you notice that many tubes are scattered about with Nihilego in them. Most of the creatures seem fine, but occasionally you do see some that look deflated, for lack of a better word, and have had all of their venom drained from them. You explore this new room, and this is where you learn some important goings-on at Team Buddy. There's a chair with restraints on it, and a deflated Nihilego canister connected to a tube of Lucid Mist. Nearby, there's a small audio log that will actually give you details on everything that's happened here.
Hello, it's Aether Scientist BA5, and today is the start of Project Jellybrain. Big news of today is that we've just pitched the idea of using Nihilego venom in tandem with Lucid Mist to make a new substance to Buddy Eyes people. We're gonna have to research this a lot more, but I have a really good feeling about what we're calling Nihilucid Mist. I found a way to integrate them together seamlessly, and if the early test results are accurate, the resulting Nihilucid Mist should be 300 times more potent than the Lucid Mist Buddy Eyes. Today's the day we finally conduct human testing with the Nihilucid Mist. We have a volunteer lined up already, and surprise, surprise, she seems very happy to be here. What's your name, darling?
Why, it's Cynthia, Doctor.
Cynthia. What a marvelous name. How'd you feel about your upcoming procedure?
Golly, I'm just so happy to help Team Buddy and become even friendlier.
Well, I think we're good to go for test number 1. Earplugs in, everyone. And... okay, hit it! Good news is that the Nihilucid Mist was a complete success, and subject Cynthia has shown no signs of waking up from the enhanced bodyization. The bad news, on the other hand, is that the Nihilucid Mist seems to have had an adverse side effect.
The audio log definitely has some intriguing info that's going to come into play soon, mainly the idea of Team Buddy harnessing Nihilego venom to amplify their evil deeds. You continue exploring the ominous lab to see what else you can uncover. As you roam the area, you soon stumble upon a couple of your strike team members, Flint and Ulani, struggling against a group of loose Nihilego. The space monsters are wrapping around your friends, and you jump in to save them. Your Pokemon dodge the constricting and poison-imbued tentacles, and ultimately send the Nihilego from back whence they came. After you've knocked out the aggressive monsters, your companions say that Nanu and Dulce got separated from them when those Nihilego broke free. They ask you to find them, and they'll stay in this room and help all the Pokemon entangled in Buddyizing experiments escape. Sounds like a plan, and you move on from the Nihilego room and go through a small corridor. As you're walking, the lights flicker, and you hear some creepy sounds. Seems like you're going the right way if these spooky noises are anything to go by, and you round a corner and bump into Dulce and Nanu. They're stopped dead cold at the sight in front of them. At the far end of the hall, you see 2 swelly dressed girls. One of them you don't recognize, but she looks similar to the Ultra Recon Squad member, so you assume it's Zossie, the person Dulce mentioned. And the other you recognize as Acerola, although she looks a little bit different than before.
Come and play with us, Dulcie and Nanu, forever and ever and ever.
Nanu and Dulce are petrified at seeing their family turned into vintage husks of their former selves, and they can't in good conscience act against them. Thankfully, you're here to set things right, and you tag in to battle the duo. On Buddy-Eyes Zossie's team, she has a Buddy-Eyes Dugtrio and Clefable, while Acerola has a Buddy-Eyes Frostlass and Sableye. You defeat the 2 children, and they stagger backwards as their faces become decidedly less dandy. They slowly collapse to the ground, exhausted, and Dulce and Nanu are overrun with worry and dash over to them. Dulce uses a futuristic device to analyze their current health.
They appear to be alright, but the shock of being unbuddyized has drained all their energy.
We need to take them back to Potown to recover.
Dulce agrees, and the 2 of them gently pick up Zossie and Acerola. They turn to leave the room, and as they do, Dulce talks to you briefly.
Forgive us, player. We must ensure our teammates are alright. I'm sure you can handle this, though, as your skill is rather admirable. Here, take this. This was in Zossie's purse.
Dulce hands you the final keycard you need, and with that, he and Nanu leave the Aether Foundation to go back to Poford. Now that you have all the keycards, you gallantly rush back into the vents and go to the large gala door on the main floor. All of the squad members still at the Foundation have gathered here, and they're all getting prepped for the final showdown.
Hey, you back, player! And you got all the keycards too, huh? Slam them into the door and let's get ready to rumble!
You insert the keys into the door, and it plays a little jingle as it slowly opens. The song suddenly turns hostile, though, and the door slams shut, and alarms and sirens start to blare.
Attention, all you dandy members of Team Buddy! We have some naughty intruders attempting to crash our lovely gala. Please escort our new friends to the salon.
Well, that's just great, ain't it? We should have gone through the vents like I said earlier.
Like, do we have to? I just fixed my nails, and any more time in those gross things are totes gonna mess with my complexion. Oh my gosh, suck it up! The fate of Alola's free will is at stake. It's just some vents.
Are we sure there's no other way to get in? Wigglytuff doesn't like tight spaces.
Hey, come on, you guys! The region ain't gonna save itself! Let's just go through them all, right, Full Pop? Fine. All right, let's go through the vents, everyone. Guzman, grab the antidote containers, and everybody, follow me.
Alolan Muck uses its raw, untamed strength to rip off a large vent by the gala door, and everybody quickly enters it before the swell security can show up. You travel through the vent a little ways, and as you're crawling your way through, you hear some creaks and groans. Everyone freezes. Instantly, part of the vent gives out, and both you and Buddy crash right into the middle of the main gala chamber.
Ugh!
Buddy turns to make sure you're alright, and then notices literally every member of Team Buddy in the room is smiling at the both of you. And what a room it is! It's the main chamber of the Foundation, which is usually a Pokemon conservation habitat, but it's gotten a drastic makeover. A large staircase is set up in front of you, with a vintage-looking machine on top of it that has large canisters of blue liquid attached to it. One side of the room has a smaller stage with a woman and her band playing many of the classic hits from yesteryear. The other side of the room is a classy art exhibit where the paintings Mina created are proudly displayed, and many tables have been set up amidst the classy atmosphere with Team Buddy members, buddy-ized people, and Pokemon sitting at them, enjoying their delicious supper. There's also a thick haze of lucid mist in the air, which if you don't do something about quickly, could definitely cause your master plan to go down in flames.
Aw, what the heck?
The rest of the vents rattle and shake, and they soon crash down into the gala room. Everyone appears to be fine, and when they've regained their composure and assessed the situation, they all naturally start to freak out.
Yo, no way, man. That's that misty stuff that made me and Plumeria get all... No way, man. I ain't doing that again.
Guzma loses his cool and rips open the Lucidmist antidote containers without a second thought.
No! Don't do it, Guzma!
Lily's concern falls on deaf ears as Guzma has already opened the canisters and released the antidote into the air. Unfortunately, there's too much Lucidmist in the room, and the antidote is swallowed up immediately and dissipates before it can help anybody.
What the hell, man? Sorry, little. We were supposed to wait until we had the leader taken down. We went over this like 100 times in the plan.
Don't you notice the fact that there's all that misty stuff around? I ain't going back to being schmoopy.
What the heck are you talking about? You just wasted our one shot at saving everyone. What are we supposed to do now?
I don't know. I was gonna wing it. Get off my case, shrimp.
Guzma is flustered, and the cloud of lucid mist starts closing in on your group. Some of the strike team members start giggling and smiling, and you notice that Team Buddy grunts and their Pokemon have made a loose circle around you. Ilani, with an uncharacteristic smile, powers through her fit of giggling and calls out her Toucanon. It uses defog on the space around you, and it's created a safe area free of lucid mist for you and your team to regroup at. Everyone starts to regain their cognizance, and Hilda, not wanting to be upstaged, decides to help out. She calls the flying type you gave her out and uses its gust to make the fog-free zone a lot bigger. Now at this point in the story, you and the rest of the Verbanks Lodge strike team are all battling Team Buddy grunts within the massive gala. Your goal is to hopefully cause enough of a ruckus that Team Buddy's leader will show up, and I'd say your team is doing a pretty good job. As you work your way through the gala, flying on your right braviary to clear a path through the fog and dodging Lucimus spray guns and stray hands trying to pull you to a blissful demise, the lights will dim and a spotlight will shine at the top of the grand staircase. A fashionable woman you recognize as Lucamine, albeit a Team Buddy version of her, makes a grand debut and the gala explodes with polite clapping.
Oh, golly, thank you everyone for the friendly welcome. The main event is right here behind me, so soon we can truly begin our delightful gala. Oh, Lilith, there you are. I knew you would come home to your family eventually. Please come and give your mommy a hug, darling.
At the debut of the Foundation's Quaintrell president, you peer back into the fog and see Lily freaking out at the sight of her Buddy-ized mother, and Buddy and Wigglytuff are trying to comfort her and give her a pep talk. He locks eyes with you and motions for you to get up there and deal with Lucamine. With a new goal set, you continue battling through the fog, taking down Team Buddy members and Buddy-ized people alike, and your ballroom blitzing eventually leads you to the base of the large staircase. Lucamine and other important members of Team Buddy, like Cynthia and Kukui, are politely talking to one another at the top of the stairs, and as you're about to go up there and confront them, a large explosion happens behind you. It appears Guzma has made an executive decision to blow a hole in the wall with his Golisopod, and Ulani and Hilda are using their flying-type Pokemon to dispel all the Lucamist in the air out of the building. Soon the Gala Chamber is free of the Buddy-izing substance, and you can put your ride Pokemon away and walk on foot now. This is a small victory for you and your team, but there's still the problem of Guzma having wasted the Buddy-izing antidote earlier, which is, to put it lightly, a very big problem. You take a step up the stairs, and the lights dim once more. A spotlight shines right at the top, and this time a vaguely familiar man and a woman that you don't recognize appear on the scene. Confetti launches as they show up, and if the applause Lucamine got was loud, then this applause is downright deafening. Jerry! Lily and Buddy run up beside you, and your greaser friend is downright stunned as he gapes at the newly appeared woman.
Is that really her, Buddy? But then who is...
Your gaze shifts from the Buddy-ized version of Cherry, Buddy's former admin and current member of the Verbanks Lodges, to the dapper man escorting her. Their eyes lock, and the man smirks as Buddy's eyes go wide. Ah, there I am. What a pleasant surprise to see me here. Lily makes sure Buddy is okay as he's dropped to his knees. The man atop the stairs gives cordial words and handshakes to all the grunts and Buddy-ized people as he's walking down. It can't be. There's no way.
What's happening, Buddy?
Why don't I formally introduce myself? I'm the true leader of Team Buddy, Mr. Buddy. I'm nowhere near as pathetic as that pompadour-wearing oaf you know. I'm the superior Buddy in the multiverse, and I'm here to share my friendship with all. Bullcrap! You took Jerry from me, asshole! Sorry, Lily. That's one way to see it, or you could look at it as me saving her from you. I know you better than anyone else does, and I know if Cherry were to stay with you, you would just take her for granted until a horrible fate befell her, most likely caused by your own negligence. I mean, I literally just walked up and took her to one of my swell salons. Where were you, Buddy? Buddy grinds his teeth in rage and rushes up the stairs to kick his doppelganger's butt. All his strategy has been thrown out the window, and he's casually tossed back down the stairs by Buddy-ized Cynthia and her Garchomp. He lands in a heap at the bottom next to Lily, and tons of Team Buddy grunts surround them. Ugh, that's the new leader. I know he sorta looks like me, but that ain't me. Not anymore. Go take him out, player, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, don't worry about me and Buddy. We've got this.
You give the greaser finger guns, which means okay in greaser speak, and step up to the stairs. Oh, it seems you're another fool that's following my doppelganger's stupidity. I've known many trainers like you before, and they always seem to think my methods are wrong, though they are the most effective. I'll allow the fashionable four to handle you, and if you can make it through them, maybe you aren't worthless after all. Come along, my darling Cherry. Let's finish the machine, Evil Buddy turns around to go work on the strange machine with Buddy-ized Cherry vacantly following him, and you start climbing the staircase to take part in one of the biggest challenges of this hypothetical game. The Fashionable Four. This is a pseudo-elite four you'll be challenging in the gala room, and as you're climbing the grand staircase, you'll have to beat 4 powerful trainers consecutively to advance the story. The first trainer you battle is Buddy-ized Kukui. He's on the first landing of stairs and compliments you on making it this far. He is concerned you're still hanging around with that greaser guy, but says that once he defeats you, he'll make sure to give you a choice spa appointment. He uses a buddy-ized version of the final form of whatever starter is weak against yours, a Snorlax, one of my England region Lycanrocs, and a Braviary on his team. Turns out his former experience with studying Pokemon moves is carried over to his buddy-ized version, and he uses just the right attacks to deal optimal damage to your team. If you can outclass and defeat him, he says,
"Well, Team Buddy is in a pickle now because you're certainly strong-o Rooney, kiddo. Hopefully the others can show you we mean no harm and just want to help people be happy."
Kukui steps aside with a smile, but strangely enough, doesn't snap out of being buddy-ized. The next trainer you battle is buddy-ized Lusamine. She's the swellest president the Aether Foundation has ever had, dare I call her my waifu, and before your battle, she talks a lot about how she wants a beautiful and happy family.
Oh, fiddlesticks. You're the naughty little trainer that's been instilling such stubborn behavior into my precious Lilith, aren't you? I certainly expected better from someone chosen for my Alola adventure. I suppose I'll have to fix you and then Lilith. Mother only wants what's best for her darling children, after all.
When you face Lusamine, she uses a Clefable, Lopunny, Lilligant, Milotic, and Beware. Her indoctrinated smile is as hollow and vapid as the others, and her fighting style has an intriguing balance of beauty and intensity. When you've beaten her, she doesn't turn back to normal either, which at this point is becoming an alarming pattern with the fashionable four, and instead flashes a creepy smile as she hugs you, then steps aside. The third character you battle in this swell gauntlet is buddy-ized Cynthia.
I am all sorts of disappointed in your behavior today, darling. But don't worry. After I win this battle, Mommy will certainly help you take your Lucid Mist medicine.
She fluffs her fur and delicately reaches into her purse to call out her lovely Pokemon friends. On her team, she uses a buddy-ized Garchomp, buddy-ized Gallade, Glaceon, Lucario, and Togekiss. The dizzying mist she emits has transformed the battlefield into a special Lucid Mist terrain, which means that your Pokemon's accuracy is sharply decreased. Cynthia uses that to her advantage, and her Pokemon leap out of the fog for fast attacks before diving back in. Cynthia's giggling echoes all throughout the showdown, and when you defeat her, the fog she's emitting dissipates, and she calms herself to a simple smile. Like Kukui and Lusamine before her, she doesn't turn back to normal, and you feel her staring at you as you jog past her to the top of the staircase. It's here you find evil Mr. Buddy and Cherry working on the mysterious machine you saw earlier, and the sinister twin turns around with a crooked smile. So, you beat 3 of the fashionable 4, eh? And now you're wondering who the 4th member is. Well, obviously it's me, but before we battle, why don't you relax for a moment? Stress isn't good for you, so please, take a seat and we can talk as I finish my grand machine. No! Cherry, please! I don't want you to get hurt. We finally found happiness in this cold, dark world, and until we're able to give you a relaxing Nihilusive spa like the others, I'd rather you weren't exposed to extraneous circumstance. Evil Buddy looks surprisingly hesitant, but eventually concedes and gives Cherry a quick peck on the cheek and solemnly says, "Please, be careful, love." Cherry smiles vacantly and approaches you for your final fashionable 4 fight. She uses a team consisting of a Blissey, buddy-ized Gardevoir, a Slurpuff, a Aromatisse, and her favorite Pokemon Crocodile, who thankfully hasn't undergone buddyization augmentations yet. The battle is long fought, but you and your Pokemon eventually prevail against her. She falls to her knees in defeat and starts to break free from the swellness. Cherry, regaining her mind, prompts Evil Buddy to whip around, his eyes in a frenzy. "What have you done, you insolent swaddle?" Evil Buddy rushes to Cherry's side and tries to talk her back into unquestioning happiness. It somewhat works, although not fully, and Bad Mr. Buddy, sometimes known as Batty, becomes enraged and glares at you. "I see you've been learning all the wrong lessons from my lesser self. You know he was once evil like me, right? We'll take it from a version of Mr. Buddy who's gone through hell and back. He wasn't wrong with what he tried. The world is an unkind and cruel place, and I learned that firsthand when I lost someone close to me."
My dream was to make the world joyous and friendly, a safe place where everybody could belong, and that's exactly what I did. After knowing true loss and pain, I made my realm into a world of joy, but not even all the love in the world could bring back my beloved. I felt hopeless in my despair, and that was when a light arrived. A young girl claiming to be from another dimension. We showed her the joys of Team Buddy, and she showed us her world's advanced technology. It was then I realized I could fill the broken hole in my heart with a long-lost love from another world. Yeah, but you picked the wrong world, bub. Behind you is standing Greaser Buddy and Lily. They're weary from battling wave after wave of Team Buddy members, but they're here now and are ready to throw down to save Alola.
If you think we're just going to lay dead and let you take our loved ones, then you have another thing coming, you Mickey-suited candy clod!
Hey, you are getting so good at that, Lily!
Are you sure I said the right stuff? I'm so embarrassed.
Hey, don't be little Lil. We're gonna stop evil me and my crazy Nihiligo Lucimus plan. Did you really think using the Nihilucid Mist was my master plan? I used it to ensure I'd have friends to help me forever, but that wasn't my main scheme, not even close. I know if I were to gallivant away from here with Cherry and all the newfound friends I've made, that you and your ragtag group of misfits wouldn't stop chasing us until somebody yielded. That's just one of the unfortunate characteristics we have in common, buddy. So in order to nip this problem in the bud, I've found a way to make sure that nobody, not you, not Lilith, not the Verbig Slodges, will try to stop me. I'm going to merge your dimension with my own buddyized world, and that way we can all be happy together. Unfortunately, all of you are going to be overwritten, but Cherry will finally be with somebody who loves and appreciates her. You can't force people to be your friends, and you certainly can't do that to Cherry. I don't know what your Cherry was like, but my Cherry would slap me silly if I said I was going to do something like this. As if on cue, Cherry turns to stare at Greaser Buddy, and her smiling demeanor seems rather conflicted as she mumbles things, acting rather unswell. Seeing this, evil Buddy rushes to her side. Hey, now's our chance, Lodges. Lily, if you and the player can distract less cool me, I'll sweep in and get Cherry.
Right! Let's go, player! Wigglytuff! Yeah!
Wiggly! Lily and Wigglytuff run up to ambush evil Buddy and successfully separate him from the still confused Cherry. You dash up there and get your Pokemon ready for the impending skirmish.
Now's your chance, buddy! Take Cherry and get out of here! We'll cover you!
Hey, you got this, Lil, but be careful. I'm sure less cool me ain't no pushover, you dig? My plan will benefit everyone. A world free of pain, of anguish. Friendship can reign and all can be happy. Why must you insist on denying me happiness? You and Lily have a double battle against evil Mr. Buddy, and Lily uses a Wigglytuff, while the doppelganger has a Gardevoir, Musharna, Salazzle, Malamar, and a Wigglytuff of his own. You and Lily don't yield in the battle, though it is incredibly hard because he packs quite a punch with his friendly Pokemon, and Lily especially is determined to help Greaser Buddy as much as he was determined to help her earlier. It's a lengthy battle, so I hope you brought enough full restores to share, and you soon coordinate a powerful takedown attack with Lily that slams evil Buddy and his team to the ground. His breathing is strained, and his body is barely moving. You fools.
There's a moment of respite right now as Batty has collapsed in anguish on the floor, and you and Lily take advantage of the calm to jog over to Greaser Buddy. He's moved slightly away from the battlefield and large dimensional merging machine, and he's holding Cherry, making sure she's okay. Thankfully, she's returning back to normal.
Cherry, are you alright? Well, I mean, I knew you could, but Danny and Rosie thought I should check in on you, so, you know, gotta keep the Slodges happy, huh? Well, I mean, what can I say, baby? I traveled across the sea to get you, doll. Hey, didn't even faze me. Well, Captain might disagree, but... Oh, by the way, Cherry, this is Lil and the player. They've been helping me fix everything.
It's nice to meet you, Miss Cherry. Buddy's told us a lot about you. Well, maybe we don't need to talk about all of this right now.
As you, Lily, Cherry, and Buddy have a wonderful reunion amidst your supposed victory, you fail to notice a certain villain has crawled to their dimensional merging machine. As much fun as getting hung out to dry is, we better finish things up here quick, huh? We got the leader down and out, so we just gotta lock him up and then we can help Lily's family. Wait, where'd I go? I refuse to lose Cherry again, especially to a pathetic failure like you! Mr. Buddy has moved to the dimensional merging machine, and he rips canisters of Nihilusiveness off of the tech and douses himself in them. He's laughing maniacally, nay, insanely as he does this, and all of the commotion has attracted the attention of some stray Nihiligo by the interdimensional machine. Yes! Join me, Nihiligo! Help me reclaim my love and give this world friendship! Buddy tries to get everyone off the platform before anything bad can happen, but it's too late. Evil Buddy is merged with the Nihiligo and the Nihilusive Mist of Team Buddy's creation and has become a swell-bringing monstrosity, the Father Beast. Now nobody can say no to the joy I bring. Come here, Cherry, my darling. Be with me. Let me love you. The Father Beast uses one of his tentacles to grab Cherry, and he rips her away from Buddy. She tries to break free, but the Father Beast's grasp is absolute. I'll never let you go again, Cherry. I'm sorry I failed you before, but now we can be happy forever. No one can tear us apart. Hey! Martian Man! Let it go! The Father Beast turns with a cocked eyebrow, and upon seeing your ragtag group ready to battle, uses his myriad of tentacles to slam you, Buddy, and Lily away. Not so fast, insolent, unhappy hooligans! Ugh! Hey! You gotta stop it, me! Do you understand that what you're doing isn't just evil, but freaking insane? You can't force friendship! That's like the one thing I learned! The simple Pompadour man is talking. Fascinating! Do go on. You worthless simpleton. I have more friends and love in my life than you can possibly comprehend. I pity you, buddy. You and your lack of beautitude. Just shut the heck up, man! Give Cherry back and crawl away to your own lame world. We don't want none of your crap here. I know what your problem is now, buddy. You haven't lost somebody the way I have. I'll show you that we are one and the same. I lost a dear friend, and now you will too. What are you saying? The Father Beast's body gestates and pulses until an erratic ultra wormhole generates beside him. In an instant, one of his tentacles shoots out for an unsuspecting Lily.
Buddy?
No! Buddy dashes in front of little Lil to protect her, and his evil twin smiles cruelly as his tentacles wrap around and strangle the heroic greaser. He drags Buddy's struggling body up to his eye level, and his expression oozes cruelty. How does it feel to fail? It hurts, doesn't it? You won't be here to help your precious Cherry or Lilith anymore.
Cherry! Lily!
How pitiful. A man who seeks only friendship dying without nary a friend in sight. It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. Tears form in Buddy's eyes. He looks at Cherry, Lily, and you hopelessly. Huh? You have one last thing to say to me? What is it? I'm just dying to know.
Get bent!
The Father Beast smiles wickedly and hurls Buddy into the ravenous ultra wormhole.
No!
As he's falling, he reaches out for his slodges. The interdimensional wormhole going who knows where fizzles away into the air, and you've now lost Greaser Buddy. The Father Beast laughs in triumph and gloats over his victory. Well, that was certainly dramatic. Now, if there's no other me's I should know about, who's up for some supper? Our gala is catered with only the finest. Oh! The Father Beast receives a punch to the face courtesy of Lily and Wigglytuff, who are on the verge of breaking down.
What did you do? Where is Buddy? Bring him back!
Even if I wanted to, which I can assuredly say I do not, who knows where he's ended up? I gave him a one-way ticket to a dimension at the far corner of the multiverse. As he dies alone, maybe he'll learn a lesson or two. This answer enrages Lily, and she and Wigglytuff charge at him once more. They get a few good hits in, but the Tentacle Man eventually gets tired of their antics and tosses them harshly to the side. Lily and Wigglytuff collide with the Dimensional Merger Machine, and sparks fly out of it as it summons portals to random worlds. Lily gives a surprise shriek and tries to turn the evil device off, but whatever she's doing is only making things worse. "What have you done, brat? Step aside before you ruin everything!" Evil Buddy tries to go to the machine to fix it, but you step in front of him heroically. If he wants to do anything bad, he's gotta go through you first. He snarls at your misplaced heroism and calls out his Pokemon to battle you amidst all the Ultra Wormholes and dimensions warping around you. On Father Beast Mr. Buddy's team, he has a team that's similar to what you fought before, with a few differences. When he doused himself with Nihilusive Mist earlier, most of his Pokemon became Buddy-ized and gained a partial Fairy typing. His new team for your final battle against him consists of Buddy-ized Gardevoir, Buddy-ized Musharna, Buddy-ized Salazzle, Buddy-ized Malamar, Wigglytuff, and the final Pokemon you have to fight is actually the Father Beast himself! The Father Beast has a typing of Fairy Poison and has an incredibly high defense, which it offsets with a lot of poison stalling. The battle is intense because not only is reality warping around the two of you, but the Father Beast still has Cherry within his grasp. A lot's riding on this, but you and your Pokemon stay on target through the poisonous harm befalling you. You deliver a game-winning attack against the monstrosity, and that causes Evil Buddy to scream in pain and unmerge from the tentacled Pokemon. Ah! He's back in human form, and though he's but a weak man now, he scrambles to try and get to the machine Lily is unsuccessfully operating. Before he can reach it, however, the machine gives off a deep rumbling sound, followed by Lily yelling, "Oh no." The screen distorts and tears, dimensional portals rapidly open and swirl around the Foundation, and everyone starts to panic and dive for cover. Amidst the chaos, evil Mr. Buddy calls out to Cherry, and the machine ramps up into overdrive. Everything ripples, flashes, and pulses, and a gigantic explosion of light swallows the entire Foundation. You slowly pick yourself up from the ground and glance around. The Aether Foundation has been partially destroyed due to dapper Mr. Buddy's Dimensional Merger Machine going haywire, and it's become a complete mess with tables overturned, people and Pokemon laying exhausted all over the place, and even some random objects from other worlds that have been warped into this dimension. It's a chaotic and depressing scene, to say the least, but if there's one silver lining to all of this, it's that the energy and shock of the dimensional merging blast has jolted almost every one of the Buddy-ized people back to their former selves. You can walk around the destroyed room and talk to people like Gladion, Wick, and even Faba who have returned to normal, but strangely enough, there are some people that were Buddy-ized that you can't seem to find. Before you can dwell on that, however, you continue exploring the exploded gala room, and at the base of the stairs spot Flint holding a passed-out Cynthia. Both look like they've taken some heavy damage from the Dimensional Rift incident, but Flint musters up enough strength to give you some brief words. She's just passed out. I guess even if you're Buddy-ized, you can't smell through everything. I don't know what to do now. Maybe the recon squad can help me? Or that old professor dude back home? What to do about the passed-out Buddy-ized Cynthia is definitely an important topic, but that will have to wait because as you travel up the destroyed Grand Staircase, you see something that breaks your heart. You find Lily solemnly kneeling in defeat by the large broken Dimensional Merger Machine. She's sobbing uncontrollably as she's clutching Buddy's fractured glasses. Cherry has taken a solemn knee next to her to give her reassurance that things will be alright, although she herself looks incredibly frazzled too. The camera pans out from Lily, Cherry, and you get a view of the desolate destruction Team Buddy has set upon the Aether Foundation and the people of Alola before the screen fades to black. At this point in the story, you've successfully completed the main Team Buddy narrative of this game. Team Buddy seems to have been disbanded as their leader disappeared during the interdimensional shenanigans, and practically every Buddy-ized person has been jolted back to their senses. Everyone on Alola is still shocked from what's happened and are in the early stages of planning repairs to rebuild the region. You now get to progress through the rest of the game like normal and continue on your journey to become Alola's champion. I know it's hard to just move on in the aftermath of Calamity, but honestly, it's what Buddy would have wanted you to do. You return to Pony Island and complete your 8th trial, which is located at a brand new racetrack that's been carved into the mountains of Pony Canyon. This trial is run by a teenage Hapu, and for her trial, you'll have to use your Furfrou to race her Mudsdale around the track. As you're racing, you'll have to avoid obstacles and wild Pokemon that will slow you down, and when you successfully beat her to the finish line, a Totem Donphan rolls up beside you that you're going to have to battle. Once you've defeated the giant Donphan, Hapu will congratulate you on completing her trial and award you with a Ground DMZ. She says the final thing you have to do before confronting the Pokemon League is beat the Kahuna of Pony Island. She gets into a battle stance and reveals that she's actually the Kahuna. You now get to battle Kahuna Hapu, who uses a Gastrodon, Golurk, Flygon, and Mudsdale. This comes as no surprise, but you eventually best her, and she congratulates you on completing all of your trials. She gives you a Keystone as a reward, meaning you can now Mega Evolve your Pokemon, and says the Alola League awaits you at Mount Lanakila. With the top of the metaphorical and literal mountain in front of you, you journey up Mount Lanakila to challenge the Pokemon League. You traverse a mountainous route, which has been greatly expanded since Ultra, and you battle your way through other opponents until you reach the League. Before you can step foot inside of it, Ulani shows up, and you have one final battle against your rival. She talks about how crazy all that Team Buddy stuff was, and says now that she doesn't have to worry about them buddyizing her or how, she can focus 100% on defeating you. She calls out her Pokemon to face yours, and her team includes the final form of whatever starter is super effective against yours, a Toucanon, Umbreon, Alolan Ninetales, and Togedemaru. This is your warm-up for the Pokemon League, so you've got to give it everything you've got. You launch your full Pokemon's power at Ulani, and she does the same. The end result of your teams clashing, however, leaves you standing victorious. Thankfully, Ulani learned a lesson during her journey, and she takes her loss with a lot more grace than before. She gives you a half smile and says that you've become so strong now, but she's totally going to get stronger and beat you one of these days. You enter the Pokemon League and now get to battle through the Elite Four in any order you want. The members consist of Hala, Kahili, Mullane, and shockingly enough, Dulce. He says that he was asked by Nanu to take Acerola's place in the Elite Four until she fully recovers, and it was the least he could do after this dimension was almost ripped apart. Each of these 4 trainers have powerful Pokemon teams that are similar to what they used in Ultra, with Dulce specifically focusing on poison types. After conquering the Elite Four, you reach the summit and have a climactic battle against Alola's new champion, Ryuki. The Dragon Musician has been working hard since the events of Ultra and lets slip a brief snippet of lore when he says that the previous champion disappeared one day and he triumphed over a mosh pit of people clamoring for the title so he could be crowned as Alola's most powerful trainer. He hasn't seen your skill yet, however, and you show him just how strong your Pokemon are. I mean, you did take on the fashionable 4 in a tentacle monster from outer space. You battle Ryuki and his team of Drampa, Turtonator, Dragonite, Garchomp, Komao, and Dragalge in an intense showdown. Your Pokemon ultimately crush his, and you claim the title of Alola Champion for yourself. You and your Pokemon bask in the triumph of your victory and sit down in your throne to watch the sun rise on a brand new day.
So that's the main story of Team Buddy Returns, but there's still more to talk about with this hypothetical game. After becoming the champion, there's a lot of post-game content you can take part in, and I briefly wanted to go over just what exactly you can do. Jumping right into it, the first activity you can participate in is the good old Battle Tree. It's essentially the same as it's always been, meaning it's the Battle Tower substitution for the game. But you'll find a couple new trainers from the story are hanging out inside of it, including Flint, Ilani, Chris, and even Cherry. The second thing you can do is return to some of the trial captains and play their mini-games once again with additional courses and levels. You can serve with Lana, play a target shooting game with Sophocles, race against Hapu, and complete more dot-to-dot puzzles with Mina. If you do well in these new courses, you can earn prizes like held items or even Megastones. Moving on, one of the bigger things that happens during the post-game is you'll get a call from Professor Burnett asking you to swing by her lab. You fly over there and Burnett thanks you for coming and leads you to a strange crack in the air that's pulsing with energy. It appears reminiscent of an Ultra wormhole but is constantly fluctuating and reforming, which gives it a much more unstable feeling. She explains that the events of the past few days, mainly Team Buddy's gala and subsequent explosion, have caused some dimensional shenanigans across your reality. It scrambled parts of your dimension with hundreds of others across the multiverse, and, what's worse, very few people will be able to tell the differences according to her research. Burnett has been whipped into a frenzy and turns to make some phone calls, and in case it isn't brazenly clear, this is kind of a big deal. The machine malfunctioning has essentially caused parts of your dimension to shuffle around with others, and there's no telling what, or who, might have been brought or changed in the Buddyverse. Moving on in the postgame, another thing you can do is talk to Samson Oak at Paniola Town. He studies regional variants in Alola, and he's very interested in the Buddy Eyes Pokemon that have been showing up recently. If you can capture 15 of them, Samson will give you special eggs you received from Team Buddy before they disbanded that contain Buddy Eyes variants of Alola's starter Pokemon. One of the bigger postgame activities you can do is travel to a small islet located south of Pony Island. This is a brand new location called Anew Island, and the entire area is made out of a peculiar crystal substance. As you journey deeper into the island's jewel-infused catacombs, you'll find a lot of unique Pokemon that you can capture that aren't native to Alola. It turns out this island has strong ties to Ultra Space, which is where these Pokemon have fallen from, and there's some surprise trainer battles and a Necrozma legendary encounter here too. Continuing through the postgame, one of the more time-consuming activities you can do is you can check up on some of the people you've interacted with during the main story. It's mostly the members of the strike team you put together, but there's a couple others you can talk to as well. The first characters you can interact with are Fico and Zossie, who are at the Altar of the Sun. When you go here, you'll trigger a special event where the two of them thank you for helping save Alola and their own world from Team Buddy, and they give you the ability to Ultra Warp Ride between dimensions. This functions exactly how it did in Ultra, and you can now roam through Ultra Space and capture Ultra Beasts, Legendaries, and rare Pokemon that may be out there. The next important character is found at the Aether Foundation and is Gladion. He's back to his normal edgy self, and the Foundation has returned to normal since the Team Buddy takeover.
Hey, thanks for stopping Team Buddy and saving everyone. We're all very grateful to you, but no, it's nothing. It's just that my mother has gone missing, and I've had to take over the Foundation in her absence. I'd love for nothing more than to go and find her, but right now, stabilizing Alola and her many projects have taken priority. I want you to have something. It's a type null. This Pokemon was created by the Aether Foundation years ago, and it's currently the last one we have. If anyone can teach it about love and compassion, I think it's you, trainer.
Gladion gives you a Pokeball containing a type null, and you thank him for the gift. You turn to leave, and Gladion calls out to you.
Wait! If you see Lily, please ask her to come home. I haven't talked to her since after the gala, and I'm worried about her. In the past, we've tried to solve our family problems on our own, but I feel that's when everything turns sour. Just tell her I miss her, and we can find Mother together.
Gladion's heartfelt words really resonate with you, and after talking to him, you unlock a special quest where you can actually track down and talk to Lily. If you go to the Akala Island Motel that was your hideout earlier in the game, you can enter it to find both Lily and Cherry hanging out inside. It's still got a 50s inspired interior, and Cherry is leaning against the jukebox very cool-like, while Lily is sitting in a chair depressed as she holds Greaser Buddy's broken glasses. It takes a bit of talking before Lily opens up to you, but when she does, she says,
I've decided to join the Burbank Lodges. I'm done with being weak and causing everyone around me to suffer. I'm going to learn how to be strong from all of Buddy's friends. And then I'm going to save him and my mother. No matter what it takes. I don't want to feel worthless anymore. And I'm sorry I let you down, player. Maybe someday we'll meet again.
Lily hands you a Solgaleo Z and Lunalium Z. She turns back to the table solemnly, and as she said, she's going to stick around the Burbank Lodges for as long as it takes to set things right. This is the last interaction you have with Lily in the game. And that's the story of What If I Had a Pokemon Evil Team 2, aka Team Buddy Returns. I hope this gave you a good look at not only a hypothetical sequel game to Ultra Sun and Moon, but also a continuation to the Team Buddy storyline I created. I'm sure you guys can guess this, but Team Buddy is one of my favorite things I've created, and I always love making new stories and hypothetical games for them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to do more Team Buddy stuff in the future. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you like this hypothetical game I've created here? Are you a swell fan of Team Buddy? Would you join us or fight against our Buddy-izing methods? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, and feel free to leave your Team Buddy Grunt teams as well. Thanks so much for watching, and hey, I'll catch you later!